Chapter 1339. Then what should I say? The silver dragon thought so too, and a contemplative look appeared on her face, as if she was thinking about what words to use as an opening statement. She didn't think that the other party had anything to do with her, just as Bicky thought. "How have you been?" Wang Feng said. "What does this word mean?" The silver dragon asked. "It means that nothing bad happened after we parted, and it's used as a greeting when we meet again," Wang Feng explained. He wasn't sure what the silver dragon was thinking. Why would she ask such a question? Was there a deeper meaning? Nothing bad happened. The silver dragon nodded and thought for a moment. "But I should be considered sick, right?" Wang Feng, looking at the silver dragon calmly, saying these words, there seemed to be a deeper meaning. She's referring to the matter of the soul contractor? Wang Fengxin was stunned. Sure enough, how could this silver dragon not know anything? After living for so many years, it was impossible for her not to understand humans. The silver dragon thought that after the other party left the Star Doe Sacred Mountain, the soul demons erupted in the great Star Doe Forest, and the impact was great. If she hadn't appeared in time, the great Star Doe Forest would probably still be in a mess. The appearance of the Dark Demon Realm was a terrible thing, both for humans and soul beasts. "Since you're sick, are you here to solve the bad thing? Is this also the cemetery where you left the great Star Doe Forest?" Wang Feng glanced at the silver dragon. "Of course." The silver dragon revealed a rare smile. "I can't watch my soul beast race be completely replaced and obliterated in the future. Let it disappear just like that." Hearing this, Wang Feng was already sure. This silver dragon was indeed here to cause trouble. She really didn't recognize soul contractors and thought that soul contractors would make soul beasts disappear in the future. They would be replaced by humans. She didn't think that life and soul contracts were equal. Thinking about it, it made sense. Wang Fengxin sank. Could it be that he really had to become enemies with this silver dragon now? This was the Federation, the martial spirit city, the core of the Federation. This silver dragon possessed strength comparable to a god-ranked powerhouse. If they gathered all the top-tier titled Dalu, they might be able to defeat him. But it was too difficult. Next, this King Long would either make a request to avoid a battle on account of the fact that Yishuan had treated his injuries previously. However, Wang Feng didn't even need to think about it. Such a request would definitely be disadvantageous to humans. If he didn't agree, there would be a big battle tonight. Seeing the smile on Zhang Xian's face, Wang Feng stared intently at him, seemingly knowing what the other party was thinking. This smile was even more beautiful than the moon in the sky. Unfortunately, Wang Feng felt that there was a knife hidden in this smile. If he wasn't careful, he would end up in trouble. On the other side, the silver dragon saw that the other party was looking straight at him seriously. He vaguely recalled Bicky's words. "By the way, what do you think about the bloodline inheritance?" In the eyes of the silver dragon, this was essentially a matter of bloodline inheritance. Bloodline inheritance? Wang Feng was stunned and confused. He didn't know why the other party suddenly asked him this. "Yes, bloodline inheritance." The silver dragon organized her words and sighed. "You also know that it's very difficult for us soul beasts to pass down our bloodline to the next generation. The stronger the bloodline, the harder it is to pass it down. Powerful soul beasts don't have a strong reproductive ability. Especially for 100,000-year soul beasts, it's very difficult to find soul beasts of the same type. It's even more difficult for soul beasts of different species to pass down the bloodline of the previous generation." Wang Feng wasn't sure why the silver dragon suddenly mentioned this, but he vaguely felt that something was wrong. That's true. Wang Feng could only nod and follow the silver dragon's words to see what she meant. "You humans are different." The silver dragon's tone was slightly fluctuating. Humans are born with a strong reproductive ability. Even martial souls can be passed down from one generation to the next. The next generation will be stronger than the previous one. The silver dragon felt that this might be the greatest advantage of humans. Although they were born weak, their reproductive ability was really strong. In just 1 year, they could give birth to a child. Soul beasts, for example, probably couldn't even form an embryo in 1 year. However, when Wang Feng heard this, his heart suddenly turned cold. This silver dragon. Could it be that she wanted to use the strong reproductive ability of humans to enslave humans in the hands of soul beasts and pass down the bloodline of soul beasts? What a terrifying idea. Wang Fengxian broke out in a cold sweat. Was this the silver dragon's condition? On the other side. I heard it. The Ice Emperor suddenly said angrily. This silver-haired woman wants to marry Wang Feng and pass down the bloodline to the next generation. Seems like it. Qin Yu thought about it and felt that the Ice Emperor was right. Otherwise, why would the two of them meet in the middle of the night just to discuss some bloodline inheritance? It had to be said that this idea was crazy and terrifying. This seems to be her idea. It doesn't mean it's Wang Feng's idea. Qin Yu still said something. Haha, the Ice Emperor sneered. Didn't you hear? They've known each other for a long time, and they didn't just hook up during the competition. What does this mean? I knew it. With his personality, how could he stay in a mountain without doing anything? Now, there's conclusive evidence. Let's continue listening, Qin Yu said. At this moment, Wang Feng felt extremely troubled. Boss, is this silver dragon plotting something against you? Long Xie and Qilin Lord Bing Mu had been listening quietly. When they heard this topic, they immediately reacted. It's very difficult to pass down the bloodline of the dragon god. Of course, I'm talking about pure dragon bloodlines, not those inferior dragons. If there isn't an equally strong bloodline, the bloodline of the dragon god will be diluted. But if there's an equally strong bloodline, then it's easy to say. Long Xie coughed a few times. With my experience as a soul beast for countless years, I feel that she's extending an olive branch to you. She wants to see if you're interested in bloodline inheritance. Get lost. Wang Fengxian's heart sank. What do you know? She's obviously trying to use the strong reproductive ability of humans to pass down the bloodline of soul beasts. The relationship between humans and soul beasts. She wants soul beasts to become masters and enslave humans. That's right. Long Xie paused. He thought about it. What do you think? The silver dragon asked. I think. Wang Feng's expression didn't change. He looked at the silver dragon and said, humans have their strengths, and soul beasts have their strengths. Humans have strong reproductive abilities, but they're born weak and have short lives. On the other hand, soul beasts are born strong and have long lives. This might be why soul beasts have weak reproductive abilities. That's right. The silver dragon nodded in agreement. She felt that she couldn't get along with her two subordinates, Bai Ji and Di Tian. On the contrary, she could always get along with them. They were soul beasts. Wang Feng wasn't happy about the silver dragon's approval. After thinking about it, he still wanted to try persuading her. That's why I believe that humans and soul beasts can learn from each other's strengths and make up for their weaknesses as we all live under the same sky. Learn from each other? The silver dragon was stunned. Could it be that he meant in a chapter? Chapter 1340. Learn from each other's strengths? Wang Feng was naturally referring to soul charters. In essence, the main rules of soul charters were to learn from each other's strengths to make up for their weaknesses. Hence, Wang Feng was just following along with the silver dragon's words and hinting for him to consider becoming a soul charter. Don't mess around. However, these words had a different meaning in the silver dragon's ears. Could it be that he also wants to combine a human and a soul beast? This way, the bloodline passed down could combine the strengths of both parties. The silver dragon was stunned. This seemed to be what Bai Ji was thinking. Could it be that he really had that intention? The silver dragon suddenly didn't know where to put his hands. There was a strange feeling in his heart. After thinking for a while, the silver dragon placed his hands behind his back and remained silent for a long time. Wang Feng thought that the other party might be thinking about it, so he didn't say anything. The two of them quietened down just like that. There's hope. Bai Ji transmitted her voice from the corridor. What hope? Di Tian listened for a while and didn't quite understand. This conversation was very calm. Can you tell that he has already expressed his intentions? Learn from each other's strengths to make up for their weaknesses. Bai Ji felt that Brother Tian was quite slow at this time and couldn't help but explain. Master said that the bloodline inheritance was to see if the other party really had that kind of thoughts about her. Then, he said that humans and soul beasts can learn from each other's strengths. Isn't this clearly saying that humans and soul beasts can combine? And is it referring to him and Master? TSK. I think so. DTon felt that Baiji's words made sense. The more they thought about it, the more they felt that it made sense. The Ice Emperor also thought the same. TSK. Qing Yu, look, learning from each other's strengths to make up for their weaknesses. This clearly shows that he has that kind of thoughts about her, right? Sister is also a soul beast. Could it be that he has this kind of thoughts about soul beasts? The Ice Emperor felt that he had found evidence. Tomorrow, or the day after, she could find trouble with Wang Feng confidently. Well, why do I feel that Wang Feng is talking about the soul renters? Qing Yu thought for a while. Are you mistaken? That's impossible. You have to combine the content of their conversation. This soul renderer has nothing to do with it, the Ice Emperor retorted. Ahem, I'll keep my thoughts to myself. Qing Yu shook her head and remained silent. He vaguely felt that the Ice Emperor might have misunderstood. At this moment, Wang Feng asked, "What do you think?" The silver dragon stared blankly at Wang Feng, as if it had just woken up from its thoughts. Oh, you said learning from each other's strengths to make up for our weaknesses. I don't think that's a good idea. After all, soul beasts and humans are fundamentally different, so you're rejecting me? Wang Fengxin's heart sank to the bottom. As expected, the other parties still felt that soul charters were lacking. Indeed, they were fundamentally different. Thinking of this, Wang Fengxin let out a long sigh. It seemed that this was unavoidable. This can't be considered rejecting me. The silver dragon looked at Wang Feng and said hesitantly, "Well, the main thing is I don't really understand humans." She meant that she couldn't understand human emotions. Naturally, she couldn't accept it. However, Wang Feng smiled and said lightly, "Yes, I don't understand soul beasts either." Then you. The silver dragon looked at Wang Feng with a strange expression. She felt that the other party seemed to be very disappointed, but he didn't show it. After thinking for a while, she couldn't help but say, "Well, you humans seem to like to solve things by fighting. Why don't we give it a try?" "What do you mean?" Wang Feng was stunned. "It's a competition," the silver dragon said with a serious face. "If you beat me, I'll agree to your so-called learning from each other's strengths to make up for our weaknesses. If I beat you, you have to agree to my conditions." After saying that, the silver dragon might think that her idea was good and even nodded to herself. Wang Feng smiled when he heard that. "Is this an opportunity because I saved her before?" Wang Feng shook his head. Wang Feng guessed that the silver dragon's conditions had something to do with the soul contract master. He wanted to change the relationship between the two. Simply put, he wanted the soul beast to have the dominant position. If he agreed and lost, Wang Feng wouldn't be able to stop it. However, if he won, the silver dragon would acknowledge the soul contract master. "Boss, do you think you'll lose?" Long Xie asked telepathically. "Well, the chances of winning are low. If I'm at rank 60, I won't lose." Wang Feng felt that it was a pity. If he didn't agree now, judging from the silver dragon's attitude, they would probably fight tonight. They would fall out. After thinking for a while, Wang Feng nodded. "Okay." Hearing Wang Feng's agreement, the silver dragon narrowed her eyes and smiled. "Then I'll see you in the competition." The silver dragon finally reached out the hand behind her back and waved at Wang Feng. After walking to the door, the silver dragon turned to look at Wang Feng and didn't say anything. However, Wang Feng was staring at the full moon in the sky. No one knew what he was thinking. On the other side, Baiji and Ditian hurriedly left when they heard that their conversation was about to end. "Master is amazing." As she walked, Baiji said in admiration, "Master won't lose out even if she wins or loses. Furthermore, Master is very opinionated. She has already agreed in her heart. Why can't I tell?" Ditian was confused. Furthermore, if Master has already agreed, why would he add a bet? He was a 900,000-year soul beast, but he couldn't tell. How did Baiji know? Ditian found it unbelievable. "Brother Tian, you're so stupid." Baiji shook her head and said, "Think about it. If she agreed directly, wouldn't Master lose face? You have to know that if you get it too easily, you won't cherish it. You guys are all the same. There's another meaning to this bet. If he loses, he'll be in charge. If he wins, Master will be in charge. Actually, it's to decide who will be in charge when the two of them are together in the future. Furthermore, we have to let the other party know that Master won't agree so easily. Tion felt that Bai Ji's first sentence was very reasonable. If you get too easily, you won't cherish it when you get it. Master is the god of us soul beasts. If we agree to the other party just like that, wouldn't we lose face? Bai Ji looked at her own head. Master is still the best. I'm still too naive. I'm too stupid. Actually, Master has already thought it through, right? Regarding this point, Tion still agreed. If I win, I should be able to make him support soul beasts, right? It's best if we work together with humans and soul beasts, especially the soul beasts in the Great Douluo forest, to solve the problem of the Dark Demon Realm. After all, it's impossible to deal with the Dark Demon Realm with just humans or soul beasts. This was what the Silver Dragon thought. Furthermore, the other party created the Soul Contractor. He should have such thoughts too, right? Otherwise, he wouldn't have suggested this bet. Chapter 1341. By the way, could it be that he came out of the Divine Mountain because he already knew about the soul demons? The Silver Dragon suddenly thought. He knows that this world is going to face a great calamity, so he created the Soul Charmer. He wants to combine the power of the two as soon as possible to deal with the Dark Demon world together. At this thought, the Silver Dragon instantly understood several layers. So he's already so high up? The Silver Dragon felt that Bicky was really stupid. How could he create the Soul Charmer for me? How could one inherit his bloodline with me? However, thinking of the other party's words just now, the Silver Dragon subconsciously clasped his hand behind his back. Maybe a little. Otherwise, why would he agree to this bet? The Silver Dragon blinked and returned to the room with a calm expression. TSK. Chinyu, did you hear it? After the two left, the Ice Emperor was silent for a long time before speaking in a strange tone. It seems that the two of them are planning to fight it out in the competition. It's just that I don't quite understand this bet. Chinyu pondered for a while and felt that there was a big problem with this bet. Then you're really stupid, the Ice Emperor said. You heard it. Chinyu was surprised. The Ice Emperor sneered. Isn't this bet about who has the upper hand? Oh, in the dirty words of the humans, it's when they mate. Whoever's on top, who's on the bottom? Chinyu opened her mouth slightly. It seems that this silver-haired woman has a very high status. She doesn't want to be under him just like that. There's probably no other person in the Great Douluo forest who could be Tion's boss. The Ice Emperor was very angry, very angry. If Chinyu hadn't stopped her just now, she would have rushed out directly. What a shameless bet. Why do I feel that your misunderstanding is getting deeper and deeper? Chinyu laughed bitterly. Then what do you plan to do? What else can I do? The Ice Emperor said indifferently. Naturally, the two of them can't meet. Tomorrow, the four of them will compete 2 rounds. Between the 3 of us, there will definitely be 2 who will meet in advance. Regardless of whether I meet him or her, as long as I eliminate them, they won't be able to meet each other. This bet is naturally invalid. What if they meet in advance? Chinyu asked. Then I'll let them know in the final match that some things have to be paid for, Ice Emperor said coldly. Chinyu opened her mouth, wanted to say that he might not be able to defeat anyone. But after thinking about it, he decided against it. The next day, soon, it was the 14th round. There were only 2 rounds left, the semifinals. Apart from Wang Feng, the Silver Dragon, and Chinyu, the other semifinalists were the Grand Venerables from the Flame God Mountain, the Land of Inheritance. A rank 99 titled Douluo. Interesting to say. Yesterday's match was between the Flame God Mountain's Great Venerable and the High Priest from the Sea God's Island. As the saying goes, fire and water are incompatible. In the battle yesterday, this Great Venerable had won by a small margin and defeated the High Priest of the Sea God's Island. To be more precise, it was a draw. However, the High Priest of the Sea God's Island had a mild temperament. He didn't like intense fights, so he simply admitted defeat. As for the Flame God Mountain's Great Venerable, he had a fiery temper. Because of his element, he didn't like to admit defeat. As for Qingyu, to be honest, Wang Feng felt that her luck had always been good. However, in her previous match against a rank 98 title Dalu, the strange thing was this titled Dalu admitted defeat directly. It seemed that this titled Dalu even knew Qingyu. Therefore, Qingyu won effortlessly. Even the Ice Emperor didn't have to show up. Otherwise, Qingyu wouldn't have been able to win so easily against a rank 98 titled Dalu, even if the Ice Emperor had shown up. At least 2 soul-bonded beasts had to show up to guarantee victory. As for drawing lots, Wang Feng felt that his luck was good. He drew Qingyu directly. Compared to the other 2, Qingyu was much easier to deal with. Today's Hanyu Plaza was filled with soul masters. There would be even more tomorrow. This was because the soul masters who lost didn't leave. This year's Summit Group Tournament was a little magical. Even in the semifinals, the 4 people were still very mysterious. Whether it was the Silver Dragon, Qingyu, or the Great Venerable from the Flame God Mountain, they were all unfamiliar faces. Wang Feng wasn't an unfamiliar face due to his identity as a soul contractor, but most soul masters didn't recognize him before the Summit Tournament began. In the crowded plaza, Wang Feng realized that the most popular person among the 4 of them had changed from the Silver Dragon to him. He could tell from the cheers and the roar of the crowd. When Wang Feng walked onto the stage, the cheers became even louder. Wang Feng didn't know if it was because of his appearance or because of his identity as a soul contractor. It should be the former. Soon, Qingyu walked onto the stage. Qingyu was the biggest dark horse in this tournament. She was also very popular. Some people said that she was the lucky one in the tournament. Until now, she hadn't shown anything special, because her strength was too mediocre. It was simply unprecedented for a mere soul Dalu to have made it to the finals. Fortunately, compared to Wang Feng, this was nothing. Therefore, on the contrary, Qingyu didn't cause much of a commotion. How do you feel after becoming a soul contractor? Wang Feng looked at Qingyu and asked with a smile. This? Qingyu was stunned. She recalled the bits and pieces of these days and said, there are good and bad things. How should I put it? I feel that after having a soul contract beast, I have less private time. However, it's also much livelier. Actually, I think it's not bad. At least, in terms of cultivation, it's been smooth sailing. Qingyu nodded slightly. Without the threat of the heavenly tribulation, soul beasts aren't afraid of increasing their cultivation. They have an indomitable momentum when cultivating. It's very smooth. The Ice Emperor's cultivation speed is much faster than before. From this point of view, being a soul contractor wasn't the only choice for a soul beast, but it was definitely the best choice. Qingyu's identity was very special. She was both a soul beast and a human. She was able to express her feelings to a certain extent. Where's the Ice Emperor? Is she still not planning to come out? Wang Feng laughed. I heard from Qingyu that she came to tempt you to participate in the competition. Didn't she come to cause trouble for me? Now that she's met me, why isn't she coming out? When Qingyu heard this, she couldn't help but think, Bing Bing, she's already prepared. Can you do it? She said, if you ask her to come out, won't it be embarrassing if she comes out? Qingyu said. Wang Feng couldn't help but laugh. Are we still fighting? Aren't you going to cause trouble for me? Qingyu opened her mouth. From Wang Feng's attitude, she could tell that he didn't care about the Ice Emperor's trouble. Wang Feng, I didn't expect you to be able to smile so calmly as if nothing had happened. You're amazing. At this moment, the Ice Emperor's strange voice suddenly sounded. Qingyu's soul rings flashed, especially the 2 scarlet 100,000-year soul rings. Following this, a ray of light flashed, and the Ice Emperor's beautiful body appeared on the stage. The aura of a 100,000-year soul beast instantly filled the entire stage. For a moment, countless pairs of eyes stared blankly, as if they hadn't recovered from their shock. End of chapter. Chapter 1342. The appearance of the 100,000-year soul beast immediately ignited the entire competition. Soul contractor. A true high-level soul contractor. A soul contractor who used a 100,000-year soul beast. The aura of a 100,000-year soul beast was too terrifying. Even after so many years, 100,000-year soul beasts were still the pinnacle of existence for human soul masters. Furthermore, the Ice Emperor wasn't an ordinary 100,000-year soul beast. She was a soul beast that had survived a 600,000-year heavenly tribulation. Her bloodline was also extremely powerful in the extreme north. She was also one of the 3 emperors of the extreme north, especially the Douluo heavenly kings. The moment they saw the Ice Emperor, they all stood up with their eyes wide open. It was impossible for them not to know the Ice Emperor of the extreme north. After all, that place was considered a friendly soul beast forest for humans. The appearance of Green Jade, a bona fide high-level soul renderer, was a true high-level soul renderer in the truest sense. Unlike Wang Feng, it could be said that the appearance of the Ice Emperor attracted the attention of almost all the soul masters present. Even the Silver Dragon, who was competing on the other side, looked askance. It couldn't be helped. She hid too well. Qingyu was too lucky. After so many matches, the Ice Emperor didn't appear at all. A 100,000-year soul beast. Is this a high-level soul contractor? Why would a 100,000-year soul beast be willing to be a human soul contractor? Unbelievable. This Qingyu is also a soul contractor. This is interesting. Both of them are soul pact masters. One side has 3 soul pact beasts, while the other side has 100,000-year soul pact beast. Is this the Ice Jade Emperor Scorpion? The entire Hongyu Square was filled with wave after wave of discussions. But Wang Feng, who was in the arena, frowned slightly after hearing the Ice Emperor's strange words. In the distance, Wang Feng looked at the Ice Emperor. After surviving the 600,000-year heavenly tribulation and signing a life contract with Qingyu, the Ice Emperor seemed to have been reborn. She looked even prettier now. Did my smile provoke you? Wang Feng felt that something was wrong with the Ice Emperor's tone. The Ice Emperor sneered. It made Wang Feng feel that the Ice Emperor's aura was very strong. He looked very confident. Do you know what you've done? The Ice Emperor's aura was extremely strong, and he said confidently. The Ice Empress felt that she wasn't afraid of Wang Feng at all. She was like a beggar facing a millionaire with 100 million yuan. He was not afraid at all. However, as Qingyu had said, Wang Feng had saved her in the far north by sacrificing his life and soul contract. Even if he were to cause trouble for the other party because of his elder sister, he would only be able to cause a ruckus. But things were different now. What have I done? Wang Feng thought about it and was confused. What have I done? Looking at the Ice Emperor's proud expression, Wang Feng couldn't help but continue. Did I offend you again? These words made the Ice Emperor very angry. Sister, look at the man you've chosen. He doesn't even dare to admit what he's done. Wang Feng, don't play dumb. Qingyu and I heard it with our own ears. Don't try to deny it. Today, I'll teach you a lesson on behalf of my sister. The Ice Emperor sneered. His sparkling and translucent body was like a gem. Waves of icy light appeared. Wang Feng was stunned. She heard it with her own ears. Could it be the conversation between him and the Silver Dragon last night? But this didn't seem to have anything to do with the Ice Emperor. It also didn't have anything to do with the Snow Empress. Wang Feng didn't know what the Ice Emperor meant. He didn't have time to think about it, because the other party was already here. I'm sorry. Qingyu shook her head helplessly in the distance. She immediately revealed her martial soul. Qingyu's martial soul was her soul beast's original form, the Blues Lamp Ice Jade Pufferfish. This was a beautiful and powerful soul beast. It had both ice and fire attributes. It had a very ancient bloodline and was very intelligent. Usually, it would gain intelligence in 100 years and cultivate very quickly. Moreover, it was very intelligent. At 100,000 years, it would even surpass humans. This intelligence was similar to the development of one's brain. This showed that their cultivation speed was much faster than that of ordinary soul masters. This was because soul beasts with such high intelligence would develop their own cultivation methods. They weren't good at fighting, but they weren't weak either. At the same time, they would develop many different methods to deal with their enemies, and their enemies wouldn't be able to defend against them. Another sign of high intelligence was that their spiritual power was very strong. This was why Qing Yu was different from the Ice Emperor. She was able to maintain a calm state at all times. In the face of the Ice Emperor's various emotions and guesses, she maintained a skeptical attitude. She even analyzed and agreed that the Ice Emperor's guesses were wrong. However, Qing Yu couldn't convince the Ice Emperor. She couldn't change the Ice Emperor's mind either. When Qing Yu's martial soul appeared, Wang Feng observed it closely. He realized that it was a very beautiful soul beast, or rather, a martial soul. This martial soul should be unique. This type of martial soul didn't exist in the current humans' beast martial souls. This was a soul beast that was mainly green and white in color. Its body was branded with fine green, flame-like patterns. The white part was flawless, and its fins were like the wings of a butterfly. It was pure white. Green flames danced in its eyes, and its tail was like a scissor, like a palm leaf fan. It was very beautiful. Soul-bonding beasts were stronger than soul beasts. Their strength lay in the fact that after forming a life-soul contract, they would give the beast true soul skills. These soul skills weren't innate skills of the soul beast. They were fixed, just like the soul skills of human soul masters. They weren't unique skills, nor were they innate skills. From 10-year soul skills to 10,000-year soul skills. 100,000-year soul-bonding beast would have at least 5 true soul skills, and they were fixed. In essence, this was equivalent to activating the hidden power in the soul beast body. These soul skills were the manifestation of the soul beast's many years of cultivation. They didn't conflict with the unique skills and innate skills of the soul beast. Therefore, normally speaking, soul-bonding beasts were much stronger than soul beasts. The Ice Emperor was much stronger than before. Wang Feng didn't let Long Xie and Lin Lord Ice Empress out. It didn't mean much. With the Ice Emperor's methods, he probably wouldn't show any mercy. TSK. In comparison, I'm the founder of the soul-bonding art. I'm not a true high-tier soul-bonding master. Wang Feng couldn't help but sigh as he watched the Ice Empress flaunt her prowess in the green jade. But he had achieved his goal. No matter what, Qing Yu was still a high-tier soul-bonding master. It was enough for the soul masters present to understand what a true high-tier soul-bonding master was. 100,000-year soul beast. Wang Feng, take this. I'm going to defeat you, you unfaithful man. In midair, the Ice Emperor's body glowed with an ice-colored light that was comparable to the sun. Extreme ice space. Ever since the Ice Emperor appeared, the temperature had been dropping rapidly. It affected the entire arena, and even the surrounding spectator stands were affected. At the start, it was still fine. Many soul masters only used their soul power to resist the cold. However, as the Ice Emperor started to attack Wang Feng, the Ice Emperor seemed to be overshadowed by the sunlight. He was like a heart of ice in midair, exuding extreme coldness. Instantly, the entire arena was sealed in ice. The various components and soul formations in the arena were all sealed in ice. This was terrifying. Soul tools lost their ability to function in such an environment. This meant that the arena couldn't withstand such temperature and ice. Chapter 1343. The surrounding pillars and the ground seemed to have been dyed in color. There was only boundless ice. There was no snow, only ice. This was an extremely large area of control. It was similar to the Ice Emperor's soul skill. However, it was only the beginning. It was to create an environment that was suitable for the Ice Emperor and Qing Yu. It could allow them to unleash their full abilities. The Ice Emperor had a 600,000-year cultivation. Even a rank 97 or 98 titled Dalu wouldn't be able to defeat him easily. Furthermore, the Ice Emperor was a soul-bonded beast. He had many more powerful offensive abilities. However, this was useless against Wang Feng. Wang Feng looked at the Ice Emperor and Qing Yu. Although I'm not strong now, you're still far from being able to teach me a lesson. Disregarding everything else, his body was simply too powerful. He wasn't afraid of ice or fire. Even if the Ice Emperor's ice was ultimate ice, it might even surpass ultimate ice. However, Wang Feng had the Ice Emperor as his soul-bonded beast. Even ultimate ice wouldn't be able to harm Wang Feng. He couldn't even control his body properly. Wang Feng didn't want to waste time with the two of them. Wang Feng stomped lightly on the ground. Countless cracks instantly appeared on the sturdy ice surface. His body was like a rocket as he charged towards Qingyu. His powerful physical strength was on full display at this moment. Even Di Tian couldn't compare to Wang Feng's current strength and speed. Unless one was at rank 99, like the Shido, a no-title Dalu could compare to Wang Feng in terms of physical strength. Even a rank 99 title Dalu wouldn't be stronger than Wang Feng. This was an avatar that was created using the single chi into 3 pure ones. It was no different from the original body. The only difference was their martial soul and soul power. Qingyu didn't expect Wang Feng to be so fast. The Ice Emperor's extreme ice domain didn't have any effect on Wang Feng. While she was shocked, she immediately went on the defensive. In the next moment, Qingyu unleashed her martial soul true body. When he released his martial soul true body, a scene that shocked everyone, including Wang Feng, occurred. One had to realize that Qingyu had been so lucky that she hadn't even revealed her martial soul true body. At most, she had only revealed her martial soul and unleashed a few soul skills. However, a titled Dalu's martial soul true body was different. Because titled Dalu had soul cores, the soul master didn't have to fuse with his martial soul to unleash his martial soul true body. It had the powerful ability to automatically attack the enemy, as well as control methods. Furthermore, soul masters could also deal with their enemies. So a titled Dalu's martial soul true body was far stronger than a soul sage or soul Dalu's martial soul true body. This was because soul sages and soul Dalu's martial soul true bodies didn't have soul cores. After releasing their martial soul, the soul master's body would fuse with his martial soul. However, after Qingyu's 10 directions martial soul true body, a dazzling light core shot out of her body and flew into her martial soul. The blues lamp, white jade pufferfish's martial soul immediately grew to a length of 30 to 40 meters. Soul core. Qingyu had just become a soul Dalu, but she already possessed a soul core. Wang Feng was also astonished. This blues lamp, white jade pufferfish was extremely intelligent. After it transformed and cultivated again, its intelligence didn't disappear. Its understanding of human cultivation methods was probably even deeper than humans, and it was even able to cultivate a soul core in advance. At this stage, there was only one person who had a soul core after rank 80. That person was the Shido. After reaching rank 90, the Shido even cultivated his second soul core, which was the ultimate yin-yang twin soul core. He was the first person in history to do so. Ice Jade Domain. As the blues lamp white jade pufferfish's martial soul true body was revealed, the innate domain spread out in all directions. Not only that, but the Ice Emperor in the sky also revealed a smile. Wang Feng, I knew that my extreme ice domain wouldn't work on you. However, I don't believe that my dual domain won't work on you. You still want to attack Qingyu? Don't even think about touching us today. Oof. Extreme ice domain. Stack. An icy wave erupted from the Ice Emperor's body once again, and the yellow gem-like hexagon on its body lit up. The extreme ice domain was the Ice Emperor's innate domain. The 600,000-year-old Ice Emperor in the extreme north possessed the ultimate power of extreme ice. It was naturally the same for this domain. The freezing effect of this domain could ignore all resistance. Of course, this resistance was targeted at the resistance of a human soul master's body. Wang Feng had researched this ultimate power before. This ultimate freezing effect froze space itself and froze everything within it. It directly froze space, and regardless of whether you were immune to it, you wouldn't be able to move in this space. The power of absolute ice, which was above the power of extreme ice, even had the ability to freeze time. This was why Lin Lord Bingmu was able to freeze the first few heavenly tribulations with his power of absolute ice. The power of the heavenly tribulations simply froze space, and it was useless against them. This was because the heavenly tribulations came from splitting space itself. Only by freezing time could the heavenly tribulations be restrained. However, Landlord Bing Mu hadn't recovered to that level, and he couldn't do that. Similarly, it was the same for the power of extreme flames. It could burn space. Many people were immune to fire, but they weren't immune to ultimate fire. Ultimate flames could burn and destroy space, and any life within that space would immediately disappear. This was the true strength of ultimate power. Of course, soul beasts had to cultivate to at least 100,000-year cultivation to reach this level. Wang Feng knew that Qing Yu still had a 100,000-year fire-type soul beast. She hadn't revealed it yet, and it was probably her trump card. But right now, under the effect of the extreme ice domain, Wang Feng seemed to have suffered a blow. He was advancing very quickly, but he suddenly stopped. There wasn't any frost on Wang Feng's body, but the space around him was filled with endless icicles. In the blink of an eye, the entire arena had turned into a cubic ice sculpture. In the center of the huge ice sculpture, Wang Feng was like a grain of rice. He was rooted to the spot, and it looked very shocking. The area was too large. The Ice Emperor's extreme ice domain couldn't freeze space on such a large scale, because her cultivation wasn't enough. Freezing space was easier said than done, but it involved the power of the origin. Unless the Ice Emperor was a million-year soul beast, she wouldn't be able to freeze space on such a large scale. Instantly, she froze Wang Feng and the space around him. At the very least, she would need 800,000 to 900,000 years to do so against Wang Feng. If one wanted to freeze space, one had to consider what kind of space it was. As Wang Feng was moving at high speed, the origin energy of heaven and earth around him was unleashed. Even the extreme ice domain, which was a soul skill that affected the environment, was damaged to a certain extent. The space around him was already unstable. The Ice Emperor's cultivation wasn't enough to freeze Wang Feng's space with her domain. However, it was powerful because the Ice Emperor's extreme ice domain was stacked with the Green Lantern White Jade Pufferfish's extreme ice domain. The Green Lantern White Jade Pufferfish was a dual-type soul beast with ice and fire. Even though it wasn't ultimate power, it was still very strong. Qing Yu and the Ice Emperor formed a soul contract, and their domains stacked together. This caused the Ice Emperor's domain to be enhanced by more than one level. It was very close to ultimate ice. In an instant, Wang Feng was frozen. Seeing Wang Feng frozen in the center, the Ice Emperor was delighted as she said, "I know that your body is immune to ice and fire. You also have the Qilin Ancestor as your soul bond beast. It's a pity that the Qilin Ancestor is too weak now and can't help you much. Your strength has also been sealed, and your abilities have been greatly reduced. You can't be immune to everything like before. Not to mention, my and Qing Yu's dual domains are nothing. Wang Feng, admit defeat. I won't let you betray my sister and sleep with that soul beast." Wang Feng, who was frozen, could still hear the Ice Emperor's words. However, Chapter 1344. The Ice Emperor was very pleased. Finally, I can make this guy fall. Especially when he saw the frozen Wang Feng. Unable to move, the Ice Emperor felt that he had never been so happy in so many years. Since that year, this guy's strength and power had been like a towering mountain that pressed down on the Ice Emperor's head. The pressure was too great. Whenever she thought about it, she would feel suffocated. She would also feel that she was too weak and insignificant. That was why she had worked hard to cultivate for the past 10,000 years. She had cultivated for more than 30 years back then, but in the short 10,000 years, she had cultivated for 600,000 years without relying on external help. Unlike cowardly Kuan and the others, they stayed by the Azure Emperor's side, and their cultivation speed was much faster than other soul beasts. Moreover, it would also be changed by Qing Qing. Whether it was in terms of aptitude or potential, it would increase. After 10,000 years of accumulation, the speed at which his cultivation increased was simply unimaginable. The Ice Emperor, on the other hand, relied entirely on himself. She felt that the Azure Emperor was Wang Feng's soul beast. If she relied on the Azure Emperor, wouldn't she be indirectly relying on Wang Feng? How could that be? She wanted to take her sister back from Wang Feng and prove herself. When they first met a few months ago, the Ice Emperor felt a chill run down his spine when he saw the other party killing soul demons as if they were chickens. Even such a powerful soul demon could not withstand a single blow from him. He felt like he had wasted his 10,000 years of cultivation. It was impossible for him to catch up to the other party. Fortunately, the Ice Emperor discovered that Wang Feng's strength seemed to be limited to dealing with soul demons after he had survived the 600,000 years calamity and become a soul-bonded beast. The reason was that his martial spirit was extremely unique. However, from the perspective of a human soul master, he didn't seem to be very strong. In addition, after becoming Qing Yu's soul-bonded beast, his confidence had multiplied. That was why he wanted to seek revenge. He had also found evidence that Wang Feng had wronged his sister. His morale soared. Now, he could finally let out a sigh of relief. Of course, although the words were said very happily. However, the Ice Emperor knew that Wang Feng would not give up so easily. He would not be able to make Wang Feng admit defeat just by freezing him with 2 domains. Otherwise, he wouldn't be Wang Feng. However, this was enough to make the Ice Emperor feel extremely comfortable. Bing Bing, don't be so smug. Even a rank 99 title Dalu won't be able to withstand our double-stacking domain. However, it's impossible for him to admit defeat just like that. Qing Yu reminded. She stood in midair, sitting on the enormous blue silken ice jade dolphin. I know. The Ice Emperor swung his scorpion tail. I just want to have some fun with my mouth. This is the first step to our success. Now that you've had your fill, let's follow up the victory. Qing Yu looked down and was slightly taken aback. Countless cracks appeared on the huge ice sculpture. Under the superposition of the 2 domains, the power of extreme ice had reached its limit, reaching the true meaning of freezing space. Theoretically speaking, these ice sculptures would not shatter unless space was broken. It was impossible to break free with pure strength. In fact, according to Qing Yu's calculations, once Wang Feng was frozen, even if he had a backup plan, it would be impossible for him to break the ice in a short time. During this time, Qing Yu and the Ice Emperor would prepare a follow-up attack to defeat Wang Feng. Could it be the Qilin ancestor? Qing Yu was a little confused. But the Qilin ancestor is recultivating. Although his cultivation is low, he should not be able to help him much. He should not be able to break free of the double-stacking domain's power of extreme ice in such a short time. Could it be his martial soul? But it's sealed. He didn't even have time to release his martial soul. Qing Yu was puzzled. In her plan, Wang Feng should be using the Qilin ancestor's power of absolute ice to slowly break free of the ice. This was their only chance. However, Qing Yu glanced at the Dalu. There was such a powerful titled Dalu among the humans. Even she could not see through him. In that case, Wang Feng, a peerless expert who had lived for so many years, had many tricks up his sleeve. This was something that Qing Yu could not predict. Prepare for the next attack. Qing Yu shouted in a clear voice. The Ice Emperor nodded. At this moment, the crack in the ice sculpture widened. Such a huge ice sculpture looked extremely shocking. However, it was even more shocking when it shattered. Because it was so huge, it covered the entire arena. The bone-chilling cold could not be stopped at all. It slowly spread to the entire arena. The average temperature dropped by dozens of degrees. Fortunately, everyone present was a soul master. If they were normal people, they would not be able to withstand the cold. The closer it was to the center, the more terrifying the temperature became. The strength of 100,000-year soul beast, and it was one of the 3 emperors of the extreme north. Its strength was not something an ordinary titled Dalu could compare to. Once a top-tier double domain was unleashed, it could not be controlled. Normally, titled Dalu would try to control their domain even if they were to unleash a large area of effect. However, it was too difficult to control a double domain like this. Qing Yu and the Ice Emperor's tacit understanding had not reached that level. They could not use this technique as they wished. At this moment, Wang Feng maintained his original position in the center of the huge ice sculpture. There was no ice on his body. It was just that the space around him was frozen, so he could not move. It had to be said that this double domain was very powerful. With my current strength, I will need at least 3 minutes to break this domain with my absolute ice. Lin Lord Bingmu sighed. Not bad, not bad. Each generation is stronger than the previous one. When soul masters and soul beasts work together, their strength can be greatly increased. If the Ice Emperor were to unleash it alone, it would need at least 900,000 years to achieve this effect. As the ancestor of the extreme north, Lin Lord Bingmu had given his approval. 3 minutes was very fast for a soul beast with less than 40,000 years of cultivation. However, 3 minutes was too long for a battle of this level. Boss, what are you going to do? You can't even use your soul power in this ice seal. We can't get out. Long Xie chuckled. You'll lose face if you fail just like that. I can't use my soul power, but that doesn't mean I can't use my spiritual power. Wang Feng casually said, breaking this domain is as easy as snapping my fingers. After hearing this, Long Xie felt that his boss was too strong. He could still act so pretentiously at a time like this. Then why don't you break it, boss? Long Xie dug his nose. He did not believe him. It would be easier to break this domain with the help of Brother Bingmu. How could he break it with a snap of his fingers? What do you know? Wang Feng smiled. After the Ice Emperor became Qing Yu's soul-bound beast, she has been suppressing her emotions. If I don't let her vent, it will affect her greatly. She is the Snow Emperor's sister. Even if they are not blood-related, their relationship is very deep. If anything happens, I will not be able to answer to the Snow Empress. End of chapter. Chapter 1345. I waited for a while because I wanted the Ice Emperor to vent for a while longer. I wanted her to be happy. It would be best if she could vent her frustrations. Listen, isn't she venting her frustrations now? Wang Feng heard the Ice Emperor's arrogance and said, furthermore, she has some misunderstandings about me. If I were to break them, it would be a huge blow to her. She's not an outsider. Your boss was at least an awesome person who beat up the Divine King back in the day. Do you really think I'll bother with her? Long Xie felt like he had been convinced by Long Xie's words. In fact, that was what Wang Feng meant. The dual domain was probably a trump card that the Ice Emperor and Qing Yu had been researching for a long time. She was so confident now. If Wang Feng were to break it, how big of a blow would it be? Wang Feng had already sensed that the Ice Emperor was unhappy. Wang Feng understood. Although the Snow Empress didn't ask Wang Feng to take care of the Ice Emperor, Wang Feng couldn't really compete with the Ice Emperor. He had to give in to the Ice Emperor, and he couldn't let the Ice Emperor find out. Hence, he had to remain silent for a while before breaking out of the ice. It would be best if he could face the next wave of attacks the moment he broke out of the ice. This would give them a chance to catch their breath and hope. Wang Feng had even thought of the ending. He would win after a difficult battle. This would make the Ice Emperor feel that her efforts were meaningful. She would feel that the soul-bonding beast was the right path. She would work harder in the future. Break. Long Xie was right. Soul cultivators couldn't use their soul force, so there was no way they could fight back if they were sealed in ice. However, Wang Feng had many tricks up his sleeve. Even if he couldn't use his soul power, he still had his spiritual power. The break sound of the chaotic 8 notes. Wang Feng had been on the Divine Mountain for 10,000 years. He had perfected the chaotic 8 notes. Some of them were added from his understanding of the laws. Many effects could be achieved when combined with his spiritual power. As for the word destroy, it meant that a single sound could destroy all techniques. This kind of ancient sound contained the profound mysteries of the underworld. It carried the supreme will of chaos, passing through space and time. It was a special sound that was made with spiritual energy, enough to break through all kinds of magical techniques. Of course, he wasn't that strong yet, but it wasn't difficult for him to break through a double domain. Wang Feng had high hopes for the primal chaos 8 notes. In addition to comprehending the law of life, He had also been studying the primal chaos 8 notes. Otherwise, he wouldn't have targeted the 9 esotericas as the 8 chaotic sounds. Zhen, Ming, you, die. Puh. This was the 5th syllable Wang Feng had used since leaving the sacred mountain. As the ancient voice resounded, the air began to tremble. Tiny cracks, with Wang Feng as the center, extended to the entire arena. Wang Feng's calculation was very accurate. The shattering sound could not break everything in an instant. Wang Feng's spiritual power didn't allow it, nor did his research level. Through the transmission of the syllables, it slowly permeated the entire space, breaking the ice seal and breaking the domain. The moment the entire ice sculpture shattered, the Ice Empress and Green Jade's second attack landed on the ground. No Soul Master knew how Wang Feng had managed to break through the dual domains. But right now, no Soul Master was thinking about this problem. This was because the Ice Emperor and Qing Yu's killer moves didn't give any Soul Master time to think. The Ice Emperor used her 100,000-year soul skill, Ice Pincer Tail. The Ice Empress wasn't stupid enough to test Wang Feng's strength at a time like this. He could even break through a double domain. This fellow was still so strong. However, the Ice Emperor saw hope for victory. Although he was very fast, the Ice Emperor didn't feel that she couldn't beat him. This meant that Wang Feng had expended a lot of energy to break through this domain. This meant that with Wang Feng's current strength, they had a chance of defeating him. Ice Pincer Tail. This was a very strong single-target move. Firstly, it was a 100,000-year soul skill. The tail was the Ice Emperor's strongest part. It was the most destructive and powerful part. It was the most dazzling part of her body. It was also the most suitable move to unleash after the enemy had broken through her seal. The Ice Empress' 7-segmented, diamond-like, jade-green tail behind her was emitting a powerful, icy glaze of light. The Ice Emperor was so fast that it seemed like she had teleported. She appeared in front of Wang Feng. After that, she swung her tail. The scorpion tail was so sharp that it seemed like it could slice through space. It created ripples as it stabbed towards Wang Feng. It seemed like an ordinary move, but it was very difficult to defend against or dodge. Even one's gaze was attracted by the dazzling tail. It was difficult to move. At the same time, Qing Yu wasn't in a daze to coordinate with the Ice Emperor's move. When she saw that the ice sculpture was about to break, she unleashed her soul skill at the same time as the Ice Emperor. A red soul ring lit up on the white jade dolphin's body. It was the Ice Emperor's soul skill. When this red soul ring appeared, the white jade dolphin's tail turned into a scorpion tail. Furthermore, this scorpion tail was more than 10 meters long. The white jade dolphin's huge body started to move. This scorpion tail was like a long whip as it lashed towards Wang Feng. It locked down Wang Feng's movements. This move seemed very similar to the Ice Emperor's 100,000-year soul skill. However, it was actually a very strong control-type soul skill. It was even faster than the Ice Emperor's scorpion tail. It had already landed on Wang Feng. Wang Feng's calculations were very good. At the same time, Qing Yu's calculations were also very good. The moment the ice sculpture was broken, the scorpion tail, which was more than 10 meters long, wrapped around Wang Feng. The simpler 100,000-year soul skill was, the stronger it was. Wang Feng subconsciously wanted to break free. However, he realized that this scorpion tail was very hard. It wasn't difficult for him. However, he needed at least 1 or 2 seconds to break free. These few seconds were enough for the Ice Emperor's ice pincer tail to land on him. Wang Feng knew the rhythm of the battle between Qing Yu and the Ice Emperor. He didn't use any other methods. 2 seconds later, Wang Feng managed to break free from the white jade dolphin's scorpion tail. Ice Emperor, Qing Yu shouted in her heart. Now, the Ice Emperor naturally wouldn't miss this opportunity. The scorpion tail landed on Wang Feng's body. At this critical moment, Wang Feng seemed to enter a special state. It seemed to only last for a few milliseconds. His body moved back by a few inches. He wasn't completely hit. However, when the ice pincer scorpion's tail swept past, It also directly cut through his clothes and body. A hair-like wound was drawn out, and it looked extremely small. However, it was a real wound. This wound wasn't serious, but it shocked the Ice Emperor. She knew that it was very difficult for her to hurt Wang Feng, even with Qin Yu's help. Even though it was so powerful that even a rank 97 title Douluo would be killed by it, it was still extremely powerful. However, the other party was her elder sister's man. He was so strong that it made her despair. If he could die so easily, she wouldn't have to do this. He got hit. The Ice Emperor was very excited. She knew that the bloodstains were nothing to Wang Feng. However, it was a proof to her. Bing Bing, be careful. At this moment, Qin Yu suddenly shouted in her heart. The Ice Emperor was stunned. In the next moment, she felt her entire body go numb. When she turned around, she felt her body go numb. She didn't know when, but in that split second, her extremely sharp tail was actually caught by Wang Feng. Her ice-colored body became a little redder. Let go! The Ice Emperor shouted angrily. I caught the scorpion tail with my own ability. Do you think I can let go just because you say so? Wang Feng shook his head. He looked at the bloody wounds on his hand. I can't suffer this wound for nothing. The Ice Emperor was speechless. In a chapter. Chapter 1346. Her voice was cold, but if one listened carefully, there was a hint of anger and embarrassment. It was a pity that most soul masters couldn't hear the Ice Emperor's voice. The Ice Emperor wasn't a huge 100,000-year soul beast. On the contrary, her body wasn't that big compared to other 100,000-year soul beasts. She was only about 4 meters long. But to a human being, it was still a colossal existence. Right now, her tail was grabbed by Wang Feng, and she was frozen in the air. Wang Feng had used the Emptiness Realm earlier. The Emptiness Realm was a special fighting state. Wang Feng had slowly comprehended it from fighting a long time ago. As his soul power increased, he became stronger and stronger, and the Emptiness Realm also became stronger and stronger. Other than the chaotic Green Lotus, Wang Feng's Emptiness Realm also played a big part in the battle. This avatar was exactly the same as his main body. As long as Wang Feng wanted to, he could use it, especially when it came to dodging some powerful moves. Entering this state only consumed spiritual power, but it could increase his senses by several times. Entering this state just now allowed him to narrowly avoid the Ice Emperor's attack. Wang Feng didn't hurt himself on purpose. He was caught off guard by Qin Yu's soul skill. Even if he used the Emptiness Realm, he couldn't do anything about it. He took the opportunity to grab the Ice Emperor's tail. However, the Ice Emperor's tail wasn't so easy to grab. Her seemingly beautiful tail was actually a lethal weapon. Even with his physical body, he could feel an extremely cold intent pass through his palm and into his heart when he grabbed it. At the same time, the brick-like tail was extremely sharp. It left many small wounds on Wang Feng's palm. If it had been anyone else, the Ice Emperor's sharp tail would have broken their bones the moment they were scratched. Wang Feng knew that the tail was the Ice Emperor's strongest killing weapon. Once it was restrained, the Ice Emperor's fighting strength would plummet. However, what surprised Wang Feng was that he could feel the Ice Emperor's body trembling nonstop just by grabbing her tail. It was probably angry. The Ice Emperor was so angry that her body was trembling. Fortunately, she was a scorpion. If she were a human girl, she would have been so angry that she wanted to cry. Her tail was strong and was a killing weapon. However, it was also one of the most sensitive parts of her body. As long as she grabbed it, she would lose all her strength. That was why she was trembling, and not just because she was angry. Only the Snow Empress knew this secret. However, the Ice Empress knew that her elder sister would never reveal her secret to this fellow. Furthermore, even though this was her weak spot, any soul beast that wanted to grab onto it would either die or be crippled. After all, it was her tail was the perfect part of her strength. Unfortunately, the Ice Empress knew that Wang Feng was a monster. Let me go. The Ice Empress saw that Wang Feng's hand was covered in blood and was a little anxious. However, she still said coldly, "You think you're smart? You dodged my attack just now. Do you think you can do anything to me now that you've grabbed my tail? If you don't want her hand to be crippled, you'd better let go. The Ice Emperor seemed to be trying to convince Wang Feng. Although you dodged my attack, its power is still on my tail. If you grab it now, you'll be indirectly bearing the remaining power of my attack. Wang Feng nodded, but he didn't let go. Instead, he tightened his grip. The Ice Emperor's body trembled again. She said angrily, Wang Feng, what are you trying to do? If I don't grab your tail, I'm afraid that you won't listen to me. Wang Feng said, I saw that you were full of killing intent towards me. You said that I betrayed your sister, so I thought that you must have misunderstood me. If I don't explain things to you, you'll probably continue to make a fuss. Even if you want to explain, let go of my tail first. The Ice Emperor could feel the only source of warmth on her tail. She couldn't help but wave her beautiful pincers a few times. If I let go, you have to promise not to attack me first. Wang Feng glanced at the Ice Emperor. He guessed that the Ice Emperor's anger had subsided a little. He still had to explain things. Okay, I promise not to attack. The Ice Emperor forced herself to calm down. Only the faint red color on her body betrayed her, but outsiders couldn't see it. After all, she was a scorpion. Wang Feng thought for a while and let go of the Ice Emperor's tail. Unexpectedly, the moment he let go, the Ice Emperor swung her tail. Her body once again erupted with a terrifying energy wave. The scorpion tail pierced towards Wang Feng like iron hooks and silver needles. F***CK. Wang Feng was speechless. He knew that this scorpion was unreliable. You bad guy, I'll stab you to death. The Ice Emperor roared angrily. You actually dared to grab my place. Didn't I just grab your tail? What do you mean your place? Wang Feng was stunned. Wang Feng didn't know what to say as he watched the Ice Emperor become even more irritable. Cough, cough. Boss, please allow me to explain. Long Xie said in a low voice. From what I know, scorpion-type soul beasts usually have a special tail. What you grab should be the tail joint. That's where scorpion-type soul beasts are the most poisonous and also the most powerful part of their body. It's also the part that they love the most and maintain the best. To put it simply, this place is like a human's. Long Xie seemed to be trying to find a suitable place to describe it. It's like the face. The Ice Emperor explained. That's right, the face. Long Xie immediately replied. Human women love their bodies the most. The best part is their face. That's because they have to show it to others. You were basically touching her face. You were flirting with her. Long Xie coughed. Wang Feng was speechless. Wang Feng could roughly guess what was going on, but he didn't expect it to be so obvious. Great. The Ice Emperor had just vented his anger, and now he was at a critical point again. Actually, that's not all. The Ice Emperor thought for a moment. He didn't think it was very likely, but he didn't say anything. At this moment, Wang Feng's body was covered in wounds from the Ice Emperor's ferocious attacks. However, in the state of Void Realm, they were all superficial wounds. Even though the Ice Emperor's ultimate ice was mixed into his wounds, Wang Feng's body was too strong. The ultimate ice didn't have much effect on him. It could only slow down his recovery. However, he looked like he was heavily injured. After all, his clothes were torn, and his blood was blooming like plum blossoms. Qingyu was speechless as she watched from the side. The Ice Empress lost her rationality and attacked, but she could tell that tail is as sensitive to the Ice Emperor as a human girl's private part. Compared to her face, it's more like her butt. Qingyu's face was also a little red. Wang Feng is not letting go of Ice Emperor. It's no wonder Ice Emperor is angry. However, Wang Feng seems to be giving in to the Ice Emperor. He's even tolerating the wounds on his body. Even though they're superficial wounds, it's obvious that he's letting the Ice Emperor vent his anger. It seems like Wang Feng takes good care of his sister-in-law. Chapter 1347. Recalling the moment when the ice was broken, Qingyu seemed to have understood something. She thought to herself, did he do it on purpose? She was the human form of the Green Lantern Ice Jade Pufferfish. She was very intelligent. From many details, she had already guessed Wang Feng's thoughts. After a moment, The Ice Emperor retreated with red eyes. Ice Emperor, wait for a moment. I'll let Xiao Yinyan come out to deal with him. You alone are not enough to defeat him. Qingyu coughed a few times. The Ice Emperor was silent. She didn't want to hear Wang Feng's explanation now. A man's mouth was a liar. Whoever believed him was a fool. No need for Xiao Yinyan. The Ice Emperor said lightly. Can't you see that he's injured now? I think that you and I are enough to defeat him. He can't hold on for long. Hearing this, Qingyu almost laughed out loud. She couldn't tell that Bing Bing cared about her brother-in-law. Although she said so, she was probably still worried about Wang Feng's injuries. But Bing Bing was in the situation. Although she wasn't stupid, she naturally couldn't see Wang Feng's current situation. Right now, she's giving in to you. He was letting you vent your anger, and you were still worried about him. You were afraid that when Xiao Yinyan came out, his injuries would worsen. Qingyu found it funny, but she pretended not to know anything and said, that won't do. He looks injured all over, but his injuries are obviously not serious. He was still calm under our attacks. This means that just the two of us aren't enough. I think we have to let Xiao Yinyan come out. Xiao Yinyan saw that you were bullied in the Soul Realm and said that he wanted to help you vent your anger. Now he can't wait. Xiao Yinyan, come out. Don't. The Ice Emperor wagged his tail and didn't finish his words. Another red soul ring flashed on Qingyu's body, and a flame-like figure appeared on the arena. This was a bird. A beautiful bird burning with green flames. It didn't look big, similar to the Ice Emperor. However, the aura of 100,000-year soul beast shocked everyone once again. This little bird had a bunch of white, jade-like feathers on its head. They were sparkling and translucent, round and smooth like jade. The feathers were scarlet green in color and were suffused with a red glow. At first glance, it was extraordinarily intelligent and even a little cute. But those who knew their stuff could tell. This was one of the strongest fire-type soul beasts, the green flame jade spirit bird. The flames burning on his body seemed to distort the space around him. Compared to the Ice Emperor, who was on the other side, it was as if they were a pair of ice and fire masters. They sat in midair, giving off an extremely contradictory feeling. One side was as cold as an icy cave, while the other was as hot as a fiery hell. Is this the green flame jade spirit bird that Qing mentioned? Wang Feng looked at it with some amazement. The green flame jade spirit bird and the green lantern white jade dolphin were somewhat similar. The flame patterns on the green lamp white jade dolphin's body were very similar to the flames of the green flame jade spirit bird. Many years ago, these two soul beasts might have had the same ancestor. Then, as the environment changed and they lived on different continents, they evolved into different soul beasts with different abilities. In terms of abilities, the pure green flame jade spirit bird was stronger than the green lantern white jade dolphin. The green lantern white jade dolphin looked like an ancient green lantern, but it also possessed ice-type strength. Although it possessed two types of strength, it was unable to reach the peak. Furthermore, it was very difficult to cultivate. However, it was very compatible with Qingyu. This green flame jade spirit bird's cultivation isn't weak either. Wang Feng observed it carefully and was surprised. It must have just undergone its heavenly tribulation 500,000 years ago. Qingyu said that this green flame jade spirit bird was found in another soul beast forest. It probably didn't come from the original Douluo continent. Little Yin Yin, this human bullied your sister Bing Bing just now. Let's go. We have to teach him a lesson. Qingyu shouted. This human's wounds contain your sister Bing Bing's ultimate ice. When you eat your ultimate fire, the two different types of strength will explode in his wounds. He'll suffer a fate worse than death. Okay. Little Yin Yin opened its mouth and replied. It looked at Wang Feng timidly before mustering its courage and saying, Burn this human who bullied Sister Bing Bing to death. Follow me. Qingyu's soul rings flashed. She controlled the Green Lantern White Jade Dolphin's martial soul true body and released a burst of green flames. Jade Fire Domain. Little Yin Yin wasn't very big. From the perspective of a soul beast, it looked small and dainty. However, its attacks didn't seem to be weak at all. The green flame jade spirit bird let out a long cry as it flew into the air. It seemed to be dancing a beautiful ancient dance. Its posture was very elegant as it released its domain. Green flame domain. It was also a double-layered domain. It allowed her ultimate fire to reach its most terrifying level. A sea of fire instantly covered the entire arena. Wait. The Ice Emperor was frightened and shouted. He sounded a little anxious. Qingyu, your and Little Yin Yin's domain is too destructive. You have to consider the spectators around you. Our domains can only freeze the space around us. It's still easy to control. However, ultimate fire is too destructive. Once it spreads, even the slightest bit of it can kill these human soul masters. Don't use this move. The Ice Emperor hurriedly swung his tail as he said this. A wave of extreme ice power erupted from his body and stopped the green flames from spreading to the entire arena. She knew that if these two types of ultimate firepower were to be unleashed on a person, even a rank 99 title Dalu would have to take a breather. This was especially so when Wang Feng was still injured. Don't worry. Little Yin Yin is a 500,000-year soul beast. Although he has always been cultivating and doesn't know much, his control over his ultimate fire is very strong. Qingyu said seriously, he will definitely be able to control the power of his domain on the arena. He will definitely know how powerful the ice and fire domain is. The Ice Emperor opened his mouth. He didn't know what to say. That's right. Sister Bing Bing, don't worry. I won't let my domain leave the arena, Little Yin Yin said angrily. But, the Ice Emperor's two snow claws intertwined. He couldn't help but say, Qingyu, he helped you become a soul contract master. You can't bear to hurt him like this, right? And Little Yin Yin, you were able to overcome the heavenly tribulation of a 500,000-year soul beast. He is also your benefactor. Why don't you use another move to teach him a lesson? How can that be? Before the Ice Emperor could finish, Qingyu interrupted him righteously. You are my partner. He touched your tail and humiliated you just now. Even if Little Yin Yin and I are indebted to him, that's another matter. However, Little Yin Yin and I have to show him how powerful we are now. Don't worry, Bing Bing. If we don't kill him today, we won't stop. Furthermore, he is injured now. This is the best opportunity you have created for us. If he wasn't injured, these two ultimate powers might not have much effect on him. However, it's different now that he is injured. Bing Bing, are you going to give up on this opportunity to teach him a lesson? Qingyu looked at the Ice Emperor and blinked. Yes. Qingyu is right. Little Yin Yin looked up. He saved me, but he also bullied you. We can't let him off. The Ice Emperor was speechless. Let's go, Little Yin Yin. Activate your Qing Yin domain. Qingyu immediately commanded. Okay. The Ice Emperor watched as the flames engulfed Wang Feng's body. The Ice Emperor shuddered and hurriedly flew out. He activated his domain again and canceled out the domain formed by the ultimate fire. He shouted, I don't need you. Let me do it myself. Chapter 1348. Wang Feng didn't know that the intelligent Qing you had already seen through his thoughts. Seeing the green flame jade spirit bird attack and the extremely hot flames that burned the space to the point of distorting, Wang Feng thought that if it were to land on his body, it would really cause him substantial injuries. The eruption of two different types of energy was no joke. The Shi Douluo's yin and yang origin martial souls were two even more terrifying extreme powers that allowed him to directly face the 10-ringed god-ranked war demon. Logically speaking, if Wang Feng hadn't used his Angel of Light and Dark Martial Soul, he wouldn't have been able to deal with the 10-ringed god-ranked war demon. The explosion of two extreme powers of ice and fire, coupled with the fact that he had some injuries on his body, would have been fatal if he had been hit. Evidently, Qingyu wasn't very strong. However, after forming a contract with these 200,000-year soul beasts, they complemented each other and strengthened their strength. No wonder Qing said that Qingyu and Bing Bing might cause him a lot of trouble. But in a hurry, the green flame jade spirit bird was blocked by the Ice Emperor as soon as it attacked. This made Wang Feng very surprised. Isn't the Ice Emperor a little too competitive? Wang Feng wasn't sure if the three of them had unresolved internal conflicts and didn't have the same opinion during the battle. Could it be that she was so angry that she didn't want a third party to interfere and wanted to deal with him alone? Wang Feng looked at the green flame jade spirit bird and saw that it didn't hold back at all. It was obviously going all out. There must be something fishy about this. Suddenly, Wang Feng glanced to the side and saw a strange light in the shoe's eyes as it charged at him. A thought popped up in his mind. Could it be that the Ice Emperor did it on purpose? Could she be worried about me? It was probably because Green Jade saw that the Ice Empress had taken the opportunity to attack him crazily and was injured, so she immediately summoned the Green Flame Jade Spirit Bird. She took advantage of his light injuries to give him a fatal blow and defeat him. The timing was just right. The Ice Emperor was afraid that he would be seriously injured by these two extreme powers. So, she said that on purpose? Just as this thought popped up, Wang Feng broke out in cold sweat and immediately dismissed it. Impossible, impossible. This ice scorpion can't wait to be beaten up. Not to mention being heavily injured. I reckon it would really die. She might even be in high spirits like a lily blooming. Why would she be worried about me? Wang Fengxin thought to himself. Even if he didn't want to kill him, it was already good enough that he didn't hit him when he was down, let alone pretend to protect him. Wang Feng wasn't narcissistic enough to think that the Ice Empress would do something like this just because she had feelings for him. She was a scorpion that had lived for countless years, and she was also an ice scorpion that he had taken away from her. In that case, judging from the Ice Emperor's temper, she's probably truly angered by me to the point that she wants to rely on herself to defeat me. She doesn't want that Jade Spirit Bird to interfere. Wang Feng shook his head. But that doesn't feel right either, Sai. You're too good at acting. I've helped you vent your anger. It's just that I didn't expect the Ice Scorpion to have so much chi. Wang Feng watched as the Ice Emperor attacked. The dazzling icy light covered the scorching green flames that were coming towards him. The two ultimate domains canceled each other out, resulting in countless energy explosions. Wang Feng could have just activated his martial soul and used his 7 origin powers. Judgment alone would have been enough to defeat the two of them. However, this move was too powerful. No matter how well Wang Feng controlled it, whether it was the Ice Emperor, the bird, or Qingyu, it was hard to say. Qingyu might even be beaten back to her original form. The power of judgment was the origin power of the Tribulation Origin God King. These ultimate domains weren't on the same level. To a certain extent, it was comparable to the heavenly tribulations of soul beasts. It was very destructive to soul beasts. As for soul skills, they were too weak. As Long Xie and Qilin Lord Ice Emperor's cultivation wasn't high, and Wang Feng's soul power wasn't high enough, he couldn't unleash the power of soul skills. Wang Feng didn't think that the Angel of Light and Dark soul skills would be able to harm a 100,000-year soul beast. The Angel of Light and Dark strength lay in its 7 origin powers, not its soul skills. From this point of view, the Angel of Light and Dark was much weaker than the chaotic Green Lotus. It's a pity that the Angel of Light and Dark doesn't have a domain. Otherwise, it wouldn't be stuck in a stalemate with these two ultimate domains. Wang Feng coughed a few times. At this moment, then, something unexpected happened. The Ice Emperor wanted to unleash his extreme ice domain to cancel out Xiao Yinyan's extreme fire domain so that Wang Feng wouldn't be hit. However, when the two domains canceled each other out, the violent energy turbulence formed a huge torrent that blasted toward Wang Feng. This huge energy wave even caused cracks to appear on the indestructible stage. Even the Douluo frowned as he watched. Very strong. The two ultimate domains have reached their true limits under the influence of that soul charmer. It seems like they're canceling out each other, but they've actually formed an even stronger energy explosion. This strength has already exceeded the strength of a normal Class 9 stationary soul cannon. The Douluo Heavenly Kings were a little solemn. The arena itself was a large-scale stationary soul tool, and the Douluo had personally taken the lead in creating it. As a Class 9 soul engineer, her limit was to create a Class 9 soul tool. Therefore, the strength of this stage could only support the strength of a Class 9 stationary soul cannon. It was already one of the best soul tools in the Federation. Even the Sun Moon Empire didn't have many soul tools that could surpass it. Ordinary, titled Dalu wouldn't be able to survive an attack of this level. Even a rank 99 titled Dalu's attack wouldn't be as strong as this unless they used some godly items or special soul skills. Seal. The Douluo knew that even if they weren't affected in the stage, the people outside would be in trouble. An energy explosion of this level was enough to destroy space. If they weren't careful, space would become unstable. No one knew what would happen. The eye-catching soul rings on her body lit up. Strange yin-yang origin martial souls flew out from the Douluo's body. They were like two discs that suddenly enlarged. After that, they landed in the center of the stage and turned into a huge yin-yang fish energy barrier that sealed the stage. In an instant, the energy explosion that had spread out in all directions was like a flood that had encountered a dam, and it was all gathered together. However, this also made the explosion in the space inside even more intense. The Ice Emperor didn't expect this to happen. He was stunned for a moment. Even Qing Yu frowned. She knew that two ultimate domains couldn't be stacked. However, she didn't expect the explosion to be so terrifying. However, this also confirmed her suspicions. This Douluo isn't simple. Qing Yu raised her eyebrows and glanced at the Douluo. In a chapter. Chapter 1349. The Silver Dragon King looked at the mist-shrouded forest in front of him with a grave expression. His furrowed brows did not relax for a long time. It was a very strange forest of soul beasts. The sky was covered in strange black clouds, and when looked at from afar, the dense black mass was like an enormous black curtain that enveloped the sky. Just by looking at it, one would feel a heavy pressure. At the same time, the interior of the forest was also shrouded in a thin layer of mist. From time to time, a few huge, hideous shadows would flash through the mist. Is this the evil demon forest? The dark demon energy is so dense that it locks the entire forest. No wonder that Soul Demon would run in this direction. The Silver Dragon King hesitated. She had been following the Soul Demon all the way here. She had a rough idea that it was probably that Soul Demon who wanted to lure her out of the Great Star Doe Forest on purpose. But at the same time, she also wanted to see where the Soul Demon had escaped to. She hoped that she could find their base camp. She might not be able to wipe them out all at once, but if she could severely injure these Soul Demons before she left the Douluo world, the world would be better off. The black mist shrouding this place prevents my spiritual force from penetrating it. Even my spiritual force can't penetrate it. The dark demon energy is too dense, and there may not be a single soul beast left in it. The Silver Dragon King sighed softly in her heart. This forest was very large. It was also very far from the Great Star Doe Forest. She knew part of human history and knew that this forest originally belonged to another continent. But to the Dragon God, it was all the same. The dark demon energy is a great tonic for some soul beasts that are inclined toward the dark element. They have no resistance at all. The Silver Dragon King knew that even if this forest did not pose much danger to her, it would be very difficult for her to enter it. However, the dark demon energy was dark demon energy. It was a special energy of the dark demon realm, and it was not something that soul beasts could casually absorb to cultivate. At the thought of all the soul beasts in such a large forest turning into dark demon beasts, the Silver Dragon King felt that it was a little tricky. She was not affected by the dark demon energy. Even if she could not sense the situation in this forest, it would not be difficult for her to enter. When she thought of how she would have to face the attacks of countless evil soul beasts, she felt a little helpless. This won't do. I have to deal with this as soon as possible. A silver light flashed in the Silver Dragon King's eyes. She had followed them here to deal with these soul demons. Now that she had found their base, she could not just give up. She could not go to the God realm with peace of mind. Although dealing with this place did not mean that all the soul demons were killed, it would at least give the soul beasts a great relief. Otherwise, given the current rate of soul demons in this world, the Silver Dragon King suspected that not long after she went to the God Realm, there would not be many soul beasts left before humans and soul beasts joined forces. At the thought of this, the Silver Dragon King let out a low growl. Her body began to transform. In a flash, she disappeared from the cliff, turned into a beam of silver light, and flew straight into the sky. At the same time, a loud and clear dragon roar resounded through the clouds. A beautiful dragon, thousands of meters long and shining with silver light, appeared in the sky, blotting out the sun. Her body seemed to cover the black mist above the forest. Even from dozens of kilometers away, one could see her huge body, which was extremely shocking. This was her true form. She had recovered from her injuries. Although her strength had not reached its peak, it was not far from it. Each of her dragon scales seemed to contain infinite energy. They surged and surged, stirring up the wind and clouds, causing an uproar in the surroundings. With a dragon roar, the earth trembled and the mountains rumbled. If Wang Feng were here, he would know that the Silver Dragon King's true strength was far stronger than when she was in the tournament. Even if she wanted to destroy Martial Soul City, it would be a piece of cake for her. Clearly, the Silver Dragon King did not want to enter the inner regions of the evil demon forest. She wanted to strike a powerful blow directly, but she could not sense any real soul beasts in this forest. Judging from the density of the dark demonic energy, no soul beast could escape unscathed. The Silver Dragon King estimated that there were at least a dozen soul demons in the forest, and there might be 1 or 2 10-ring divine-level fighting demons who had surpassed the limits of this world. If she entered the forest directly, it would be tantamount to entering their territory. Perhaps those soul demons would have all kinds of abilities from the dark demonic realm, and she would suffer a great loss. Therefore, she simply revealed the Silver Dragon King's true form and struck the entire forest. She did not want to give the soul demons in the forest any chance. She might not be able to wipe them all out, but she could at least severely injure them. The idea was very simple, but it was very effective. She reckoned that the soul demons in the forest did not expect the Silver Dragon King to do this. The Evil Demon Forest was a very special place. Similar to the Martial Spirit Federation, this place was even more dangerous than the Great Star Doe Forest. Therefore, the Sun Moon Empire had sent 5 legions to be stationed dozens of miles away from this forest. They did not even dare to station themselves at the edge of the forest. Although the Sun Moon Empire, which revered soul tools, was not as strong as the Federation, that was only in terms of the strength of soul masters. In terms of the use of soul tools, they were far superior to the Federation. This was especially so after the eruption of the energy tide, which greatly affected the Sun Moon Empire's use of soul tools. Whether it was for civilian use or military use, soul tools had already been developed to a very high level. After all, the energy tide of the Stark Doak Divine Mountain did not only affect lives. It also affected everything in this world. For example, vegetation, minerals, air, and so on. The Sun Moon Empire was originally very rich in minerals. After the energy tide, most of the minerals had mutated, which affected all aspects of soul tools. This was because soul tools were made from many special and rare minerals. Just as the Silver Dragon King was about to make her move, she did not expect the 5 Sun Moon Empire's legions, who were stationed dozens of kilometers away from the Evil Demon Forest, to have such a huge change. How frightening was the Silver Dragon King's true body? Just the pressure alone was enough to make one's heart tremble in fear from dozens of miles away. However, the 5 legions could only sense boundless danger from the Silver Dragon King because of their misunderstanding of the Silver Dragon King. The moment the Silver Dragon King revealed his true form, the Silver Dragon King's eyes widened. The legion commanders of the Sun Moon Empire's 5 legions gave the order to fire their soul cannons. At the same time, the rest of the legion retreated dozens of kilometers. Evidently, the Sun Moon Empire's legions did not know the Silver Dragon King's origin. Not just the Sun Moon Empire, but even the Federation did not know the Silver Dragon King's origin. The Sun-Moon Empire was not the martial Soul Federation. In the Sun-Moon Empire, there was no such thing as a soul contract master. It was even more impossible for them to show any mercy to soul beasts. Furthermore, the Silver Dragon King that was circling above the evil demon forest seemed more like a powerful and ancient soul beast that had been born in this forest. The legions that were stationed here had no choice but to attack this danger. Furthermore, the interior of the evil demon forest was very strange. This forest would affect the use of soul tools. Many powerful soul tools, such as high-grade stationary soul cannon shells, would lose their effectiveness in this forest. It would be difficult for them to pose any threat. That was why they could not use their firepower to attack this forest. They could only guard it from the outside. If a powerful evil soul beast came out from the forest, they could destroy it. Naturally, in their eyes, the Silver Dragon King true body was like a fearsome evil soul beast to them. They had to kill it as soon as possible. Chapter 1350. This situation was within her expectations. To be honest, the Douluo had given her an extremely dangerous feeling ever since she came to Martial Spirit City. She couldn't tell how strong he was. Compared to the other Douluo heavenly kings, the Douluo was extremely dangerous. After so many years in the extreme north, even the Lotus Emperor didn't know how strong the Douluo was. The silver-haired lady was the same. However, Qing Yu wasn't afraid of the Douluo. She wasn't invited to participate in this competition just to deal with Wang Feng with the Ice Emperor. That was just the surface of it. Her other goal was to see how strong the Douluo was. The explosion just now was within Qing Yu's calculations, but it was also unexpected. It was all part of Green Jade's plan because she wanted to create such a large-scale attack that was beyond what the arena could withstand. She wanted to see how the Douluo would deal with it. She hadn't expected the Ice Emperor to be created so coincidentally. Qing Yu had only been acting. She wanted to see how the Ice Emperor felt about her brother-in-law. Now, she could tell. Great! At this moment, Wang Feng hadn't expected the 200,000-year soul beast to create such a powerful attack. They had said that they would deal with him, but they wanted to take him away. Seeing how the Douluo protected himself and didn't interfere in the battle, he knew how powerful the attack was. Now that the interior of the arena was sealed, the power of the explosion wouldn't spread. Instead, it would cause even more damage to them. Wang Feng hurriedly used the break sound again. However, this time, he couldn't completely break the explosion. He could only break a part of it and reduce its power. Furthermore, it could reduce the power of his attack. He used the ancient sound to activate his spiritual power and cause the space to fluctuate. He caused the explosion to explode into a ball of ice and fire. However, the Ice Emperor and the Green Flame Jade Spirit Bird were even more troublesome. There were two types of extreme powers in this kind of energy explosion. A normal energy explosion wouldn't affect a 100,000-year soul beast. However, while the Ice Emperor and the Green Flame Jade Spirit Bird were powerful, they were also very dangerous. This was because both of their ultimate powers would cause considerable damage to the other party. After the two domains canceled each other out, the Ice Emperor and the Green Flame Jade Spirit Bird were unable to withstand the energy explosion. The two extreme powers in the explosion swept past them like a gust of wind, causing many injuries to their bodies. The Ice Emperor let out a muffled groan as his body, which had been charging towards Wang Feng, swayed from side to side due to the impact of the explosion. Due to the green flames on her body, many charred marks appeared on her beautiful ice shell. On the other side, the Green Flame Jade Spirit Bird wasn't much better off. Its beautiful feathers were bleeding from the ice shards produced by the explosion. Neither of them had practiced this move before, because theoretically, it was impossible to achieve. Their tactics would at most allow the enemy to be attacked by one type of extreme power and then attack with another type of extreme power. This would cause the two types of extreme power to explode on the enemy's body, destroying and heavily injuring the enemy. If he didn't use two extreme domains at the same time, that would be too terrifying. Because the space in the arena sealed by the Douluo had shrunk, the explosion was even more terrifying. The Ice Emperor hadn't even recovered from his shock, and his body was already swaying uncontrollably in the air. His soul power was even more difficult to circulate due to the explosion of the two types of extreme power. The main reason was that Xiao Yinyan's extreme flame jade spirit bird was able to injure her, and it was very uncomfortable for her. This was also the only weakness of the two of them being Qing's soul-bonded beasts, and this weakness required Qingyu to control. However, Qingyu had used her extreme ice domain in a moment of desperation to counteract Xiao Yinyan's extreme flame domain. This was beyond Qingyu's tactics, which resulted in this outcome. After using the Shatter Sound, Wang Feng's spiritual power was still sufficient, but it was difficult for him to move amidst the explosion of energy. If he wasn't careful, these superficial wounds on his body could become fatal. As he watched the Ice Emperor swaying in midair and almost falling to the ground, Wang Feng knew that something was wrong. Although the Shi Duo did this to prevent the explosion of energy from leaking out and protect the hundreds of thousands of Soul Masters outside, it's going to be very bad for us inside. Wang Feng glanced at the Shi Duo in the distance, but he couldn't see him clearly due to the distortion in space. He probably thinks that I can handle it. Wang Feng was speechless. No, the space is too unstable. I can't break it with the Shatter Sound alone, right at this moment. A voice that sounded like the sound of nature suddenly sounded from afar. It was the sound of the white jade dolphin. Wang Feng heard this sound as his soul ring shone brightly. It was like a sea beast singing at the top of its lungs as it let out a long cry. Dolphin sound. Wang Fengxin was stunned as he looked at Qingyu in the distance. Qingyu's eyes were slightly closed, and her mouth was slightly open. It seemed like she was making this sound at the same time as the white jade dolphin's martial soul true body. It seemed like a soul skill because her soul rings were shining brightly. However, Wang Feng felt like it was another innate skill. When this sound rang out, the energy undulation seemed to calm down a little. At the very least, the space around it stabilized. It wasn't very useful. However, it was a good opportunity for Wang Feng. In the void, Wang Feng's feet pushed off the ground, and the explosions around him seemed to have slowed down by countless times. Wang Feng was like a nimble whale, shuttling through the sea of explosions. The prisms formed by the explosions of extreme ice and extreme flames all around him brushed past Wang Feng's body. The space around him was stable, and Wang Feng could dodge as much as he wanted. Wang Feng locked onto the Ice Emperor's figure. His hand was like an azure dragon's claw as he grabbed onto the Ice Emperor's tail. His spiritual power surged, and he released the Shatter Sound. In an instant, the large area of explosion seemed to have been directly annihilated and disappeared without a trace. After that, Wang Feng pondered for a few seconds. As his figure changed, he reached out with his other hand and grabbed onto the green fire jade spirit bird's tail. A clear bird's cry could be heard. The Shatter Sound was barely released, and the explosion was dispersed. Wang Feng heaved a sigh of relief when he saw this. He turned to look at Qingyu, but he realized that she was in a worse situation. The dolphin sound that he had just obtained was probably a special spiritual soul skill. Although it couldn't stop the explosion, it managed to calm the spatial distortions caused by the explosion. It wasn't easy. However, using the Shatter Sound so many times in a row was very taxing on Wang Feng's spiritual power. If not for the fact that he had cultivated the front secret word, his spiritual power would have been drained. He held a bird in one hand and a scorpion in the other. Wang Feng didn't hesitate as he revealed his martial soul amidst the explosion. 14 wings appeared on his back, and a ball of divine light of redemption gathered in his palm. He landed it on Qingyu in the distance. Only then did he heave a sigh of relief. However, the Ice Emperor in his hand had already regained its senses. Its tail kept wriggling. End of chapter. Chapter 1351. Wang Feng felt that the strength of this explosion was similar to that of a nuclear explosion. However, it was still lacking in terms of area. Wang Feng had never experienced a nuclear explosion before, so he wasn't sure. However, these two types of energy would repel each other in the domain, and the resulting explosion would definitely be very strong. Even normal tidal Douluo wouldn't be able to hold on for long. Furthermore, the Douluo had reduced the radius of the explosion, causing the explosion to be even more terrifying. From a Douluo's perspective, she had done the right thing. There were hundreds of thousands of soul masters outside, and any soul master below the level of a tidal Douluo wouldn't be able to survive once the explosion spread. She couldn't possibly let the hundreds of thousands of soul masters outside die, just because of two people inside, right? In the end, the Douluo had to do this because she knew his identity. In other words, the Douluo knew that he was an old monster who had lived for 10,000 years. How could he not have a way to deal with such an explosion? Would he die inside? If the Douluo hadn't done this, the explosion in the arena wouldn't have been so terrifying. If Wang Feng was in the Douluo's shoes, he would have done the same. This Shiyu is quite impressive. Wang Feng held the Ice Emperor in one hand and the green flame jade spirit bird in the other. He looked at the black and white energy barrier around him. This barrier had a limited range, and it seemed to only be able to envelop the entire arena. It was actually able to isolate the explosion. Although the explosion wasn't as strong as the explosion at the center, the Douluo was still able to withstand it. There were only some cracks now, and this showed how terrifying the Douluo was. Such a strong defensive soul skill reminded Wang Feng of the black lotus-shaped defensive barrier. It wasn't necessarily that strong, but it wasn't far off. After using the shatter sound consecutively, the explosion in the arena was greatly reduced. In addition, Qing Yu's mysterious voice stabilized the chaotic space, and the explosion slowly disappeared. Qing Yu's spiritual soul skill is similar to my chaotic 8 notes, Wang Fengxin thought to himself. After pondering for a while, Wang Feng withdrew his martial soul. The Ice Empress in his hand suddenly swept up a huge force and shot out from Wang Feng's hand. Shit! Wang Feng was startled. On the other side, the azure flame jade spirit bird was flapping its massive wings, and its body seemed to have shrunk significantly due to the explosion just now. Just when Wang Feng thought that the Ice Emperor was going to fly into a rage, he suddenly saw the Ice Emperor fly out of his hand. The Ice Emperor turned around and looked at him fiercely. However, there was always a special light in his eyes. Then it actually calmed down. The green fire jade spirit bird was the first to turn around and look at Wang Feng. It looked around with a confused expression before it suddenly realized what had happened. Its feathers trembled a few times as it looked at the Ice Emperor and whimpered, "Sister Ice, we seem to have caused a terrifying amount of damage just now." The Ice Emperor wagged its tail, indicating that it understood. They're two soul-bonding beasts, and Qing Yu hadn't been working together for a long time, so they didn't feel anything. They probably didn't have that much chemistry yet. Their strength and cooperation hadn't reached a very high level yet. On top of that, their powers repelled each other. It was hard to tell what the consequences would be if they joined forces against the enemy. Qing Yu, for example, had the two of them attack separately instead of attacking together. This was to prevent such an unexpected situation from happening. Not to mention this kind of domain explosion. It's okay. The Ice Emperor glanced at Qing Yu. He also heaved a sigh of relief. Among the three of them, Qing Yu was the weakest. The explosion just now could have killed Qing Yu directly. Fortunately, Wang Feng still had some eyesight and protected Qing Yu. But just now, no one knew what she thought of, but her tail stiffened. And then next, what should we do? Xiao Yinyan glanced at Wang Feng shyly. He seemed to have helped us just now. Isn't it a little bad for us to attack him now? The Ice Emperor was silent for a few seconds. Xiao Yinyan was a 100,000-year soul beast, but her intelligence wasn't high. This was because she had an extraordinary origin and was different from other 100,000-year soul beasts. In addition, the green fire jade spirit bird was a gentle soul beast. That was why she said such words. The green fire jade spirit bird had a very ancient Qing Yuan bloodline. This kind of soul beast wasn't ferocious. Although it was powerful, it was very kind and grateful. It was very arrogant and unsociable. Qing Yu was able to become a soul-bonded beast because she had saved her and lived with her for hundreds of years. Otherwise, it would have been impossible. The Ice Emperor curled her tail and snorted. She said to Wang Feng in a deep voice, "For Xiao Yinyan's sake, I'll let you go for now, but I will never let you go for betraying my sister." After saying that, the Ice Emperor and the green fire jade spirit bird walked to Qing Yu's side. The little bird covered in green flames turned back and glanced at Wang Feng, her tassel-like feathers swaying. Hearing this, Wang Feng was even more surprised. Could it be that her personality has changed? Wang Feng couldn't help but think. One had to know that his spiritual power was in a weakened state. This was the best time to attack him. She actually let him go? Just because of that green fire jade spirit bird? Wang Feng didn't believe it. According to what Wang Feng knew, the Ice Emperor and the little bird weren't very close. They had only been companions for half a year. How could she give up just because of her words? With the Ice Emperor's personality, could it be that her anger disappeared because I helped her a little just now? Wang Feng couldn't help but think. With the Ice Emperor's strength, it was impossible for her to die in that kind of explosion. She wasn't that weak, but she would definitely be severely injured. This was inevitable. The impact of the energy explosion and the extreme firepower in the explosion would cause the Ice Emperor's beautiful body to be riddled with holes. She wouldn't be able to recover without a few decades of recuperation. If that's really the case, then she still has some conscience. Wang Feng nodded slightly and looked at the green fire jade spirit bird. This little bird is quite cute. Probably because he saw some of Qing Yu's shadow. This green fire jade spirit bird seemed to be different from the 100,000-year soul beast Wang Feng had seen. How could it be described? It felt like a teenager. It was unbelievable. If a 100,000-year soul beast didn't live for 10,000 years, it would be a complete waste of its cultivation. How could a soul beast that lived for so long still have the mentality and intelligence of a child? If you think about it this way, it doesn't seem like I'm giving Xiao Wu face. Wang Feng was so annoyed that he twitched. Wasn't Xiao Wu just a child back then? Where did her cultivation come from? Wang Feng felt a little confused. And Xiao Wu didn't look like a child because she lost her memories after transforming. Because her memories were still there. Maybe she had a fortuitous encounter? Wang Feng shook his head. End of chapter. Chapter 1352. At this moment, Qing Yu also opened her eyes from afar. Her voice was a little hoarse and sounded a little cold. I didn't expect this to happen. Just now. Forget it. Bing Bing, I heard what you said just now. Since that's the case, the Ice Emperor knew that Qing Yu wanted to admit defeat. She wanted to say something, but she didn't want to. If she admitted defeat, wouldn't she be giving this adulterous couple a chance? She felt bad, very bad. But she was the one who said those words. She couldn't just leave like that, could she? Qing Yu felt that the Ice Emperor was very unhappy. At the thought of the bet, he couldn't help but glance at Wang Feng. This human knows how to play. Qing Yu is an old soul beast. She was very intelligent and had a deep understanding of both humans and soul beasts. In terms of understanding of human culture, Qing Yu could be said to be unique among all the soul beasts. Not many soul beasts could compare to her. Qing Yu's scorpion tail froze, and her body trembled slightly. She knew that the Ice Emperor was trying to restrain himself. Qing Yu suddenly felt that it was a little fun. She pretended to be serious and said, "Since that's the case, we can't admit defeat. Right now, Wang Feng's mental power is very weak. Just now, he continuously used that powerful mental secret technique several times to offset the explosion. Especially after that, he even revealed his martial spirit. Although no one saw it, it must have consumed a lot of his energy." Qing Yu clenched her fist and said encouragingly, "This is the perfect opportunity to defeat him. Let's try again." The Ice Emperor was stunned. Seeing Qing Yu's serious expression, he said hurriedly, No, is the person my sister likes. If you do this, he will be seriously injured. Besides, he saved me just now. I can't do it." Yes. Sister Qing Yu, I can't do it either." Xiao Yinyan said softly. "Besides, he saved you just now. I saw it." "Really?" Qing Yu pretended not to know and said, "That won't do. Bing Bing, think carefully." The next match was between him and the silver-haired woman, regardless of whether he won or lost. "He betrayed your sister. This is completely different from her saving us. He saved us this time, so we can remember him. After defeating him, we can find a chance to repay him, right? It's not like we're going to kill them. Am I right, little Yin? Qingyu said with a smile. Eh. The green flame jade spirit bird tilted its head and thought for a moment. Qingyu, why do I feel that what you said makes a lot of sense? Now that you mention it, I feel like I can fight again. The Ice Emperor frowned. No, I said no. If you admit defeat, then so be it. You can't fight anymore. The Ice Emperor's words were very tough. As she spoke, she stood in front of Qingyu, blocking Wang Feng's view. Oh, Qingyu saw that the Ice Emperor had never shown such a tough stance before and smiled. She could roughly guess what was going on. She wanted to admit defeat directly, but she wanted to use this opportunity to test the Ice Emperor's thoughts. Now she could see it. This silly child. Qingyu thought of something and sighed softly in her heart. I'm afraid she doesn't even understand. Qingyu took off her number plate and retracted her martial soul true body. She walked over to Wang Feng. There was a smile on her face. Wang Feng felt that there was something special about this kind of smile as he looked at it. It was the kind of smile that seemed to indicate that she knew something, but the other party didn't, and she couldn't say it directly. She's not fighting anymore. Wang Feng looked at the number plate and asked, We're not in good condition right now. Qingyu casually found an excuse and smiled. We're embarrassed to fight again. Handing the number plate to Wang Feng, Qingyu suddenly said, By the way, the Ice Emperor wants me to tell you that although we admit defeat this time, you can't win. You can't lose. Oh, Wang Feng raised his eyebrows. The Ice Emperor was so angry, and even said that he had betrayed the Snow Empress. She must have heard the conversation between him and the Silver Dragon yesterday. She must have misunderstood something. She must have misunderstood the bet between him and the Silver Dragon. In Wang Feng's opinion, the bet between him and the Silver Dragon was a hidden condition for the development of a soul charmer. They had to achieve a truly peaceful relationship. The Silver Dragon didn't mean that he had to be a soul beast. The Ice Emperor was a soul beast. Since she thought that he had a closer relationship with the Silver Dragon, she must have misunderstood the bet. Wang Feng recalled the bet in his mind and thought about how she would misunderstand from the Ice Emperor's point of view. Bloodline inheritance, learning from each other's strengths to make up for one's weaknesses. Wang Feng's mind suddenly jolted. The Ice Emperor can't be thinking that if I win, I'll let the Silver Dragon do that to me. If I lose, I'll be the Silver Dragon's. After thinking about it, Wang Feng felt his scalp go numb. What was the Ice Emperor thinking? Despicable. Wang Feng was so shocked that he snorted coldly. In fact, the Ice Emperor's thoughts were even more despicable than Wang Feng's. It was already a question of who was up and who was down. However, it was also very close. Now that Wang Feng thought it through, he understood the cause and effect. He also understood why the Ice Emperor was so angry. Do you understand something? Qingyu saw that Wang Feng didn't answer. She was extremely intelligent and guessed that Wang Feng seemed to be thinking about something. The Ice Emperor didn't say this to her just now. Qingyu said directly. She only said it to test him. It seems like the Ice Emperor misunderstood. Qingyu thought to herself. If what the Ice Empress thought was true, and Wang Feng had really made that bet with the Silver Dragon King, then Wang Feng must have known why the Ice Empress was so angry, and even said that Wang Feng had betrayed the Snow Empress. But now he seemed to understand. It was enough to prove that the bet between Wang Feng and the Silver Dragon wasn't what the Ice Emperor thought it was. That was why he was shocked by her words. But you can't lose. Qingyu knew that when she said that, with Wang Feng's intelligence, he would definitely think that the Ice Emperor would say something like that. Then he would think deeply about the reason why the Ice Emperor was angry with him. Understand. Wang Feng shook his head. Help me tell the Ice Emperor that the bet between me and the Silver Dragon isn't what he thinks it is. No, you don't understand. Qingyu's next sentence stunned Wang Feng. She said, You don't understand why the Ice Emperor is so angry. With that, Qingyu smiled and turned to leave. Wang Feng frowned slightly as he watched Qingyu leave. This soul beast was very smart. In terms of intelligence, She was the smartest old beast he had ever seen. Does she mean that the Ice Emperor isn't angry because he misunderstood the bet between me and the Silver Dragon? He thinks that I betrayed the Snow Empress. What does that mean? Wang Feng was confused, but he seemed to understand something. Impossible, impossible. Wang Feng shook his head. He felt that this idea was a little ridiculous. But when he thought about how he had grabbed the Ice Emperor's tail twice, he felt that this ridiculous idea was possible. Chapter 1353. No matter what, this match was over. Even though Wang Feng didn't know how to describe the process, he still won. Qing Yu wasn't very strong, but the Ice Emperor and that bird could unleash immense strength when combined. Today was an example. Evidently, they had never experienced such a situation before. It was indeed dangerous. When Wang Feng walked down from the stage, he thought about it carefully and realized that it was indeed very dangerous. Actually, Wang Feng wasn't worried about his avatar. If his avatar was gone, he could create another one. However, it would take some time, and his light and darkness martial souls might become weaker. That was nothing. If something happened to the Ice Emperor, it would be hard to say. At least, Wang Feng wouldn't be able to face the Snow Empress, not to mention the Soul Masters present. This match is dangerous. As he thought until here, Wang Feng couldn't help but look at the Silver Dragon. Both matches were fought at the same time, but they were very far apart. The Silver Dragon wasn't affected. The Douluo was too fast. In less than a second after the explosion, he had already sealed the entire stage. Hence, the explosion didn't affect the outside world. Naturally, it didn't affect the Silver Dragon. The Silver Dragon has inherited the elemental power of the Dragon God. In terms of large-scale destruction, it's even more perverse than the Ice Emperor and that bird combined, let alone Hongyu Plaza. If they really fought, the entire Martial Soul City would be destroyed in a few moves. If they really fought to such a degree, there would be no point in playing. Fortunately, this is a match. She shouldn't be reckless. From what I've seen so far, Wang Feng glanced around, but didn't pay much attention. Her opponent was the Flame God Mountain's Venerable. He was a rank 99 titled Dalu. Naturally, he wasn't a match for the Silver Dragon. I hope Qing you can explain to the Ice Emperor when she returns. Wang Feng sighed and walked out. There was no one in the resting room. Only a few Douluo heavenly kings were inside. They seemed to be waiting. The Shidoal walked over first, and his expression was rather strange. He appeared to be quite pale, but there was a hint of ink flowing around his face. A Soul Douluo over rank 80 is actually able to cause such a terrifying area of effect damage. If she wasn't around, the Federation would have suffered heavy losses in this tournament. It's too dangerous. When he walked in, he heard the petite heavenly king, Nan Yuan, patting her chest and saying. Wang Feng glanced around and realized that the expressions of the Douluo heavenly kings were very ugly. However, he was still very calm. That scene just now had frightened him badly. After all, the Soul Masters present not only included more than 50% of the Federation's high-level Soul Masters, but also countless young genius Soul Masters. Once the shockwaves of such an explosion spread out, even if some of the high-tier Soul Masters could survive, the young genius Soul Masters would definitely be finished. Heavy injuries were already considered light. It was not an exaggeration to say that his vitality was greatly damaged. "Are you angry, Senior?" the Shidoal asked as he turned to Wang Feng, who had just walked in from outside. "You're injured?" Wang Feng didn't answer his question. "I'm not really injured." The Shidoal shook his head slightly. After hearing this, he knew that this old monster who had lived for 10,000 years wasn't angry at him for sealing the arena. "Your martial soul is indeed powerful." Wang Feng sighed. "It can even seal such an explosion. I thought you would suffer some internal injuries." "Senior, you actually don't blame Sister Shi. That's really strange." Heavenly King Nan Yuan looked at Wang Feng in surprise. "Oh, I forgot. The Federation was founded without you. The Federation is also your child, right? However, haven't you thought about the fact that the explosion just now, especially after Sister Shi sealed the arena, would have been even more powerful? Wouldn't your life be in danger? Heavenly King Nan Yuan's words were very interesting. She seemed to be asking a rhetorical question, but she was actually probing. My child, Wang Feng glanced at her. Do the few of you know a lot about my history? In theory, the Federation should be Bibidin's child. This was because she was the one who had united the Federation. He didn't expect Heavenly King Nan Yuan to say something like this. Not in detail. Many of them have been destroyed. Heavenly King Nan Yuan chuckled. However, many of them have been completely preserved. Many historians in the Federation have deduced the situation when the Federation was founded based on some of the history books. Many people thought that the establishment of the Federation was due to the efforts of the first Federation, the great man of the ages, Bibi Dong. This is because she was the one who united and established the Federation. She unified the empires on the continent and formulated many policies that allowed the Federation to continue to this day without being destroyed. However, most people don't know that you, the white-robed Popetiff, played the most important role behind Bibidin's creation. You even changed the direction of the continent. However, the history of the past can only be deduced based on the present. Most of it is deduced based on some minor historical details. There's no actual evidence to prove it. Heavenly King Nan Yuan nodded affirmatively. However, you must have influenced Bibidin's ancestor. Otherwise, the Federation wouldn't have been founded. It's just that we don't know the details. Because of the long history, Bibidin's ancestor didn't leave behind much history about you and him. Wang Feng smiled. He felt like Qin Shi Huang had come to the modern era and watched the descendants speculate about him. Heavenly King Nan Yuan's words were very accurate. Without Wang Feng, the Federation wouldn't have been founded. Wang Feng had a great influence on Bibi Don. He played a key role in guiding Bibi Don. Back then, Bibi Don wanted to unify the continent. He wanted to destroy it. After returning, Wang Feng entered the martial spirit palace and slowly guided him. Finally, under Wang Feng's suggestion, the Martial Spirit Federation was established. Do you know why only the Martial Spirit Palace has a complete statue of you? Heavenly King Nan Yuan chuckled again. Many people said that there was no second sculptor who could perfectly sculpt your appearance and aura. That's why there are no other statues of you in other places. Let me tell you. In fact, there's a secret history in the Federation. Back then, all the sculptors in the world of Soul Masters were captured by Bibidin's ancestor. They were ordered to never sculpt your statue in other places. Those sculptors were afraid. Bibidin's ancestor ruled for 100 years. Who dared to go against him? Naturally, those sculptors came up with all kinds of excuses and stopped sculpting your complete statue. Most of them only sculpted part of it. It's just that later on, rumors spread. Wang Feng. The relationship between you and Bibidin's ancestor has been widely discussed in the history of our Federation. Some people said that you were her confidant, her guide, her subordinate, and her Popetiff. However, I've studied history and feel that you should be the person closest to her. End of chapter. Chapter 1354. Heavenly King Nan Yuan emphasized the word intimate. That's why I said that the Federation is your child, right? The other Heavenly Kings didn't know whether to laugh or cry. It wasn't that they didn't know the history of the Federation, but they didn't know much about it. Wang Feng chuckled. Now that you mention it, I think it makes sense. Actually, after saying so much, you still think that I'm unhappy with what happened just now, right? Heavenly King Nan Yuan's expression stiffened. She had said so much and changed the topic, but that was indeed her intention. After all, they had silently agreed with what Douluo had done. To put it bluntly, in that situation, if it wasn't for Wang Feng, they would have done the same. At that moment, they had to sacrifice the people in the arena to ensure the safety of the outside world. Don't worry, Heavenly King Shi, you did well. If it were me, I would have done the same. Wang Feng shook his head. I won't be angry with you over something like this. Besides, that kind of explosion is just a matter of waving your hand. Heavenly King Nan Yuan slyly flattered Wang Feng. No, Wang Feng smiled. If I don't handle that kind of explosion well, my body won't be able to withstand it. I might die. Of course, the probability of that happening was very low. Unless the explosion was so strong that it shattered space and sucked Wang Feng in, his body wouldn't die. Otherwise, the explosion alone wouldn't be enough to destroy his body. Everyone was stunned when they heard this. You might die? Heavenly King Nan Yuan asked carefully. I'm a soul master who hasn't even reached rank 50. Why wouldn't I? Wang Feng smiled. Heavenly King Nan Yuan was speechless. He felt that Wang Feng was lying. Who would believe that an old monster who had lived for 10,000 years was only rank 50? How could he die from such a small explosion? This body, Douluo looked at Wang Feng in a daze. The other heavenly kings looked at Wang Feng. They felt that he was becoming more and more mysterious. By the way, Douluo didn't want to continue this topic. He looked to the other side and said, Tomorrow is the final match between you and her. This silver-haired woman. Douluo frowned slightly when he said this. She rarely frowned. She's not human. You should know her, right? Douluo asked. I know her. Wang Feng nodded. Then, tomorrow, Wang Feng knew that the Shido wanted to ask if the same thing would happen again. Wang Feng was not sure. Normally speaking, his chances of winning tomorrow's battle weren't high. It was really not tall. If the silver dragon was serious, Wang Feng felt that he could not win. But it wasn't like there was no chance at all. And the key point was, actually, even if the same situation happens today, we are prepared. Heavenly King, she is overly worried. Heavenly King, you muttered. We can handle it. Same situation? Wang Feng shook his head. If the silver dragon was serious, it would be even more troublesome than today. After chatting with him for a while, Wang Feng left. For the majority of the audience, today's match was basically nerve-wracking. Whether it was the battle between Wang Feng and Qing Yu or the battle between the silver dragon, none of them were simple. The defensive capabilities of the lightning physique and the vast terrain made it difficult to prevent a fight of this level. Many of the older generation of Soul Masters realized this. It was also a battle between rank 99 title Dalu, but compared to the previous batch, this batch seemed to be a lot more terrifying. This was especially true for that Soul Renderer who was over level 80. The aura of the 200,000-year soul beasts, as well as the explosive energy that engulfed the void, made many Soul Masters tremble in fear. The Silver Dragon's battle wasn't as exaggerated as Wang Feng's, but it wasn't too far off. And tomorrow's match was even more exciting. Many Soul Masters even meditated in Hongyu Plaza for the night. As they felt the atmosphere of the finals, even their cultivation speed seemed to have increased a lot. The next day, the day of the finals, Wang Feng wasn't disturbed by anyone. Regardless of whether it was Hu Hao or the other heavenly kings, no one disturbed him. As the finals, according to the procedures, today was the closing ceremony of the tournament. Many titled Douluo gave their speeches. As soon as the Douluo finished speaking, she waved her hand. 6 sparkling and translucent soul bones immediately appeared in the center of the room. They appeared in front of countless people. It seemed like many people were too engrossed in watching the competition that they forgot about the rewards of the Summit Tournament, especially the rewards of the champion. These 6 soul bones were 2 sets. They came from 200,000-year soul beasts. As soon as the soul bones appeared, they exuded a ferocious aura. It seemed to show the ferocity of the 200,000-year soul beasts. Many soul masters looked at them with burning gazes. Not only did this tournament symbolize the title of strongest person on the continent, but it would also give out the most generous rewards in history. In fact, the significance of this set of soul bones as a reward far exceeded its use. The reason was simple. Under normal circumstances, a soul master who could become the strongest person on the continent wouldn't lack soul bones. At least he wouldn't lack soul bones. However, the significance of this set of soul bones was extraordinary. This set of soul bones belonged to 200,000-year soul beasts that had died during the Great War of the Soul Beasts. The Douluo once said that this set of soul bones had been preserved until now because of his respect for the 200,000-year soul beasts. Now that it was used as a reward, its significance was to deal with the current soul demons. From another perspective, this set of soul bones was the most suitable reward for this year's summit tournament. Many high-tier soul masters had more or less guessed it. They looked at this set of soul bones, but there wasn't much passion in their eyes. Instead, they were more solemn. Wang Feng sighed. The Shi Douluo had used these two sets of soul bones as a reward very cleverly. However, he didn't know what the silver dragon would think after seeing these two sets of soul bones. Would it hate humans? No matter what, these soul bones were part of the corpses of its own kind. It was only natural that it would be angry if it was used as a reward. When Wang Feng arrived in the arena and saw the silver dragon's calm eyes, Wang Feng knew that it wasn't angry. There wasn't much noise in the crowded arena. Only the 6 soul bones floating in front of the Shi Douluo flickered with light. However, it was very quiet. It seemed like all the soul masters were holding their breaths as they watched the last match in the arena. You're not angry? Wang Feng was a little surprised. Angry? The silver dragon was stunned. It didn't seem to understand Wang Feng's question. It asked curiously, angry about what? Neither of them was in a hurry to make a move. That, Wang Feng pointed at the 6 soul bones. These are the corpses of your own kind. Aren't you angry? Oh, you're talking about that. The silver dragon looked at Wang Feng strangely. Those 2 soul beasts weren't killed by humans. Why should I be angry? I heard from Heavenly King Shi that this set of soul bones was preserved intact by humans as a historical item for thousands of years. I should be happy. This was what the Shi Douluo said during the opening ceremony. Wang Feng was stunned. Strange. It seems like the silver dragon is quite friendly to humans. Why does it sound like it's quite friendly? But it's already disrespectful to use it as a reward for humans, Wang Feng said in a probing tone. Yes. The silver dragon nodded. Then, it immediately shook its head. Maybe that's what it meant. However, I heard from Heavenly King Shi that she wanted to use this set of soul bones to alert humans of the current situation or to deal with the soul demons. That's why she used it as a reward. Her intentions are good, right? After hearing this, Wang Feng felt that something was wrong. He felt that something was wrong. This silver dragon seemed to be quite easy to talk to. It actually understood this because it was a kind of thinking from another perspective. It was the Silver Dragon King who thought from the perspective of a human being. This meant that she didn't seem to treat humans as badly as he thought. Then why did she want to make that kind of bet with him? She wanted the soul beast to take the lead. Is there something wrong? Wang Feng looked at Wang Feng and didn't say anything. The silver dragon was puzzled by Wang Feng's silence. It asked hesitantly, should I be angry? Wang Feng, then I'm angry. The silver dragon nodded and asked, shall we begin? End of chapter. Chapter 1355. From Wang Feng's point of view, the silver dragon seemed a little strange. At least, it made Wang Feng more and more unfathomable. Her actions and tone gave Wang Feng the feeling of a super big boss. It was very strange. However, the silver dragon had the strength to do so. There was no desire for victory in her eyes, nor was there any anxiety about failure. When the silver dragon said these words, especially the last 2 sentences, Wang Feng could see it. It was fun, curious, and very serious. For an old monster who had lived for countless years, Wang Feng felt that his 10,000 years were not enough. Therefore, Wang Feng felt that the silver dragon was definitely not that simple. And when the silver dragon attacked, Wang Feng realized that this silver dragon was really not simple. She did not reveal her martial soul. In other words, Wang Feng did not see the silver dragon use her martial soul in the previous battles. In most of the battles, she defeated the enemy without leaving a trace before she even raised her hand. Even when she fought against a few titled Douluo, she only used a little elemental power and some domain power. Just like the battle between the Silver Dragon and the Great Venerable of the Flame, God Mountain yesterday, Wang Feng also saw it. The flame power that the Great Venerable of the Flame God Mountain was so proud of was not only ineffective against her, but also used by her. It was basically impossible to lose against the Silver Dragon with elemental power, unless she used power that surpassed the God rank. Wang Feng was not sure how much strength the silver dragon had recovered. Although her injuries were healed, he did not know if her strength had fully recovered. If it was, then only the God King could defeat her. At this moment, elemental domain. The silver dragon stood on the spot, and a huge dragon-shaped shadow suddenly appeared on her body. It looked very faint, but if one looked closely, one could see that this shadow was an elegant and beautiful silver dragon. Invisible ripples spread out from this dragon-shaped shadow. One of them enveloped the entire arena. The vitality between heaven and earth cheered and surged in the air, surrounding the silver dragon. Spiritual storm. Spatial lock. The silver dragon's illusory figure glowed faintly, and its cold, silvery eyes burst forth with a might that made all living beings tremble. In an instant, the entire arena seemed to be plated with a layer of silver light, isolating it from the outside world. Many soul masters even discovered that their spiritual power was unable to enter the arena and participate in the battle. One had to know that the arena was so big and there were hundreds of thousands of people. The current soul tool technology wasn't as powerful as the broadcasting technology in Wang Feng's previous life. Most of the soul masters outside the center of the arena used their martial souls and spiritual power to perceive the battle. Since they couldn't sense anything with their spiritual power, it meant that they had no idea what was going on. Moreover, the higher the level of the battle, the harder it was to see with the naked eye. Because the speed of the battle was too fast, he could only perceive the specific situation of the battle through his spiritual perception. Even the Douluo heavenly king felt the same way. At this moment, even they had lost their senses of the arena. He could only frown and watch with his naked eyes. Is this for real? Wang Fengxin's heart sank. He knew that this silver dragon looked harmless. In fact, she was very cunning. The light that shot out from the silver dragon's eyes almost made Wang Feng's spiritual power collapse. His clone's spiritual power naturally couldn't compare to the silver dragon's, who specialized in spiritual power. The silver dragon didn't just inherit the dragon god's godhead that controlled the elements. She also inherited most of his spiritual power. At her peak, her spiritual power wasn't as strong as a god king's, but it wasn't inferior to a first-tier god's either. It wasn't something that a human soul master could fight against. Wang Feng even discovered that he couldn't move. Therefore, Wang Feng concluded that the silver dragon had recovered at least 70% of her strength, even if she hadn't fully recovered. Rank 80. Unless Wang Feng reached rank 80, unlocked 2 more seals, and awakened a few more strands of origin power, he wouldn't have a chance of defeating the silver dragon. But how could Wang Feng reach rank 80? Boss, she's not giving you a chance at all. Long Xie seemed to be gloating. Any elemental attack is useless against her in the elemental domain. She doesn't want to give you a chance to use that special ancient sound at all. She sealed off space and isolated the outside world. There's no way you could defeat her. Qilin Lord Isimu was more taciturn. Also, I estimate that the silver dragon hasn't revealed her true form yet. She's only using 50 to 60% of her strength at most. I estimate that she's about the same as a rank 120 god. At the very least, she's at rank 110. TSK, you two had a good talk last night. Too bad she didn't give you a chance. Long Xie shrugged. Looks like you'll have to nip your idea of becoming a soul master in the bud. Not every soul beast recognizes you as much as I do. She's a god. She cares more about the soul beast situation. Who cares if you're a soul master or not? You can talk a lot, but there's still a difference between humans and beasts. Long Xie's tone was sour. Perhaps he was envious of the silver dragon's strength. They were both descendants of the dragon god, but the difference in treatment was like heaven and earth. Wang Feng shrugged. As expected, Wang Feng didn't think the silver dragon would give him a chance. However, Wang Feng now understood. There was no desire for victory in her eyes. That was because she didn't think there was much suspense in this battle. She didn't need to desire victory at all. As long as she was serious, she wouldn't lose. That was why she was curious and amused. TSK, you did save her. Unfortunately, dragons have deep-rooted racial values. She went easy on you. Speaking of which, she went easy on you. That wasn't her full strength. Long Xie commented. My guess is that she hasn't fully recovered. She's healed, but it'll take some time for her to return to her peak. Long Xie was right. They were both descendants of the dragon god. In terms of seniority, the silver dragon and Long Xie could be considered siblings. They knew dragons very well, but his strength doesn't seem that strong. The silver dragon stood where she was. Silver lightning flashed in her eyes. She was so intimidating that no one dared to look at her directly. She wanted to know how strong her opponent was. As for winning or losing, the silver dragon still cared about that. That's strange. He's the one from the divine mountain. The silver dragon waved her hand. Instantly, the chi of heaven and earth in the air formed attacks of all kinds of elements. They were all aimed at Wang Feng. The silver dragon still didn't quite believe it. He must still have some strength that he hasn't shown yet. I can't just casually attack him. The silver dragon was full of energy. In the eyes of humans, if I respect him, I must show my true strength. Yes, he saved me, but I can't disrespect him. In a chapter. Chapter 1356. In the previous matches, the silver dragon was really playing around most of the time, because those human soul masters weren't strong. Even if it was a rank 99 titled Douluo, as long as she used part of her strength, she could win. She didn't pursue an instant kill. She just wanted to defeat her opponent. But it was different now. The person in front of her was different. The silver dragon moved her fingertips, and the elemental attacks in the arena covered the sky and covered the sky, heading towards Wang Feng. Water, fire, wind, earth, light and darkness were all elements. Even space was included. It was just that the silver dragon's strength hadn't fully recovered, so she couldn't fully use the two elements of light and darkness and space. The power of the other elements hadn't reached their peak either. Otherwise, this martial spirit city wouldn't be enough to be her battlefield. But even so, the colorful elemental attacks, even a simple ice blade, were enough to pierce a titled Douluo. And there were tens of thousands of these ice blades. It could be said that there were no blind spots in the entire arena. Heat and ice, wind and earth. The arena seemed to have become another world, overturning and collapsing. With the various energy attacks, it seemed to drown Wang Feng. It could be considered a serious attack, yet it was able to create such a terrifying power. Just this move alone, if the space wasn't sealed, was enough to destroy more than 100,000 soldiers. Many of the Soul Masters finally understood why this mysterious silver-haired woman had sealed the space around the arena. If the space wasn't sealed, the Soul Masters in the square wouldn't be able to withstand this move. Compared to yesterday's energy explosion, the Silver Dragon's first move had easily surpassed it. Wang Feng struggled for a moment. He first activated the Void Realm and operated the riddle to the extreme. Although the doppelganger's spiritual power was very strong, it wasn't comparable to the Silver Dragon. The time for cultivation was too short. At the same time, he also activated his martial soul, but in the sky full of elemental attacks, no one could see his appearance clearly. Whether he activated it or not, it was the same. And Wang Feng found that even the Judgment Origin power was difficult to use. The Space Seal not only sealed spiritual power, but also external power. It could be used, but it would be difficult to cause effective damage. After activating his martial soul and entering the space state, Wang Feng could still move. At the very least, he could dodge these elemental attacks. Wang Feng could easily dodge the Ice Emperor and Qing Yu's attacks with the help of the 8 chaotic sounds after activating the Void Realm. However, this time, it was not as easy to dodge as last time. The spiritual storm unleashed by the Silver Dragon kept Wang Feng busy, making it impossible for him to use the 8 chaotic sounds. Insufficient mental strength. Swish, swish. Almost instantly, Wang Feng's entire body was covered in wounds. It was much better than yesterday. Yesterday, Wang Feng deliberately gave in to the Ice Emperor, so the wounds on his body were all superficial wounds. It was just to let the Ice Emperor vent his anger. But now, It's been 10,000 years since I've felt such pain. Wang Feng sighed. It's also been 10,000 years since I've been truly injured. Boss, I'm impressed that you can still maintain your composure and say something like that. Long Xie felt that his boss was always better than him when it came to showing off. Look at you. You've added dozens of wounds to your body after saying those words. Your body is strong, but if this goes on, you'll die in less than 30 seconds. Don't blame me and Ice Qilin for joining someone else then. Although Long Xie said that, Wang Feng could tell that he was actually very anxious. What's the hurry? Wang Feng said unhurriedly. The silver dragon is so strong. It's good to let these soul masters see more of it. I remember from the soul demon's memories that there are several demon gods in the dark demon realm. They're probably all stronger than the silver dragon. There are countless other experts. Let them see more of the power above the god realm. Otherwise, they won't be mentally prepared to face those soul demons in the future. Is that why your boss was beaten up? Long Xie asked. No, I just want to see what the silver dragon is thinking. Wang Feng said indifferently. Long Xie didn't say anything. He vaguely sensed that his boss seemed to have some kind of trump card. But along the way, Long Xie had learned most of his boss's trump cards. He had seen most of them. His boss's soul power was too low, so he couldn't use too much of his strength. It was impossible for him to defeat the silver dragon. But now, the silver dragon was also a little confused. She saw Wang Feng's situation clearly. In fact, it was already very scary for other soul masters to be able to hold on for so long in her elemental domain, spiritual storm, and spatial seal. But he wasn't. Did I go too far? The silver dragon couldn't help but wonder. If his opponent was only this strong, there was no way he could win. No matter what, he had saved her. If this continued, in human terms, she would be biting the hand that fed her. But if I go easy on him, I'll be disrespecting him. He's a proud man. If I don't respect him, isn't it insulting him? Killing him should be more painful than that, right? The silver dragon was a little distressed. Humans are so complicated. The silver dragon felt she didn't understand humans at all. At this moment, countless people were staring at the battle in the arena. Qingyu, this silver-haired woman. Why is she so ruthless? The Ice Emperor sounded angry. Didn't they have a bet? She wants to be on top of him so much. This kind of bet shows that the two of them are obviously having an affair. Is she able to do it? Ice Emperor, how many times have I told you? Wang Feng told me that the bet isn't what you think. He doesn't have that kind of relationship with this silver-haired woman. The bet is about the soul contract master. Qingyu shook her head helplessly. And this just shows that he doesn't have that kind of relationship with this silver-haired woman. He didn't betray your sister. You're the one who misunderstood. I didn't, the Ice Emperor said coldly. Don't doubt my intuition. Qingyu, you know so much about humans. How can you believe a man's words? Qingyu was speechless. She sighed. The Ice Emperor was prejudiced. It would be hard for him to change his mind. But Wang Feng isn't in a good situation, Qingyu said. The silver-haired woman's strength is unfathomable, and she doesn't want to let go. If this continues, Wang Feng's life will be in danger. Of course I know, the Ice Emperor said coldly. I can't let him die. If you ask me, this silver-haired woman must have found out that Wang Feng is having an affair with another woman. She's upset, so she wants to kill him. Qingyu opened her mouth. You can even think of this? Your imagination is really rich. But I can't let this stinky man die. Otherwise, my sister will be very sad when she wakes up. The Ice Emperor said indifferently. Oh, is that so? Of course. Qingyu smiled but didn't say anything. At this moment, the situation in the arena changed. The silver dragon's face suddenly changed. In an instant, his body trembled slightly. His face turned as white as paper, as if he had been attacked by something. There was even a trace of blood at the corner of his mouth. Many people were stunned by this scene. The attack of countless elemental attacks was stopped. I'm injured, the silver dragon said with a muffled groan. Wang Feng was speechless. End of chapter. Chapter 1357. As soon as the silver dragon said that, the elemental attacks disappeared. She seems to be injured. Injured? Boss, could it be that she hasn't fully recovered yet? Long Xia was shocked. But why do I feel like something's wrong? How can she not feel like something's wrong? Wang Feng was speechless. Who would say something like that when they're injured? But no soul master would be so stupid. For most soul masters, even if they're injured, they have to act like they're not injured. They can't let their enemies find out so easily. Maybe she's trying to trick us? Long Xia whispered. I feel like she's giving us a chance. Qilin Lord Ice Empress added. With her strength, she can just crush us. Why would she need to trick us? I heard that boss saved her before. That means she's repaying him. After all, boss won't be able to hold on for long. That's a terrible show. Long Xia was speechless. It's so clumsy. She's the silver dragon after all. I thought she wouldn't go easy on him. Wang Feng was also a little dumbfounded. Isn't this telling everyone that I'm going easy on him? Even if you want to, you shouldn't do it like this. Those who didn't know better would think that this was a fake match. In fact, when many people saw this scene, they didn't even need to think to see that this silver-haired woman was obviously going easy on him. Qing, you see? I told you they were having an affair. You lied to me and said I misunderstood the bet? If they weren't having an affair, why would she go easy on him? Ice Emperor was so angry that his voice trembled. If she didn't go easy on him, Wang Feng wouldn't have been able to hold on. Qing Yu reminded him. She only wanted to win, not kill him. It's just that it's a little obvious. No, that's impossible. Ice Emperor laughed coldly. She's too stupid. Does she think we're all idiots? At this moment, Wang Feng frowned slightly and glanced at the Silver Dragon King. No, boss, what's wrong? She's giving you a chance to breathe. Why don't you just admit defeat? Long Xia said. Wang Feng shook his head. The Silver Dragon was indeed injured. Moreover, it was possible that his old injury had relapsed. Before this, the Silver Dragon had never used its true strength. But things were different now. Once he used his true strength, he might trigger his old injuries. However, this could be avoided. In other words, the Silver Dragon's injuries had not completely healed. Perhaps it was still lacking. However, to the Silver Dragon, this injury was no longer a threat. It didn't hinder her strength either. Based on the energy fluctuations from that mouthful of blood, Wang Feng felt that the Silver Dragon King was not just acting. Strange, Wang Feng was a little confused. With the Silver Dragon's strength, this kind of injury is basically nothing to her. How should he put it? It was like a small wound on a person's arm that had been cut by a fruit knife. Do you think it's injured? It was a wound, but did it matter? There was basically no effect at all. Furthermore, the Silver Dragon's minor injury was an internal injury caused by a God King. Normal soul masters wouldn't be able to tell. It was even more meaningless. That was why Wang Feng felt that the Silver Dragon's actions were very strange. If it was completely acting, Wang Feng could understand. But he had to open up such a small wound to make the show more real. Wang Feng looked at the Silver Dragon and felt a little stupid. Of course, there was also a possibility that the Silver Dragon had accidentally triggered her injury because she had used her true strength. It was just that Wang Feng felt that it was impossible. Because she had already woken up, the Silver Dragon wouldn't be unaware of her own situation. How could she be so careless? Even if it was an ordinary person, would they not pay attention to a small wound that was 1 or 2 centimeters long from a fruit knife? However, the Silver Dragon was thinking, I shouldn't be going easy on her like this, right? The Silver Dragon thought, after all, I'm really injured. This kind of injury didn't affect her much. As long as she didn't touch it, it wouldn't take long for her to slowly recover. Even if she touched it, it wouldn't affect her because she had almost recovered her strength. This kind of small injury wouldn't affect her foundation. Since she couldn't directly go easy on her, the Silver Dragon decided to play a half-truth. This way, she shouldn't be able to tell, right? Well, as for what happened next, the Silver Dragon felt that if she continued like this, his life would be in danger. Her goal wasn't to kill him. That was absolutely impossible. She just wanted to defeat him. That was why she did this. To put it simply, she wanted to find a way out for herself. The Silver Dragon looked at Wang Feng and said in a very small voice, shouldn't you admit defeat? Wang Feng. Ha! Long Xia laughed. After going easy on her, she immediately let you lose. Boss, I thought she wanted you to win. She probably saw that you weren't strong enough to defeat her, so she hurriedly used this method to interrupt your attack, so that you wouldn't die. The silver dragon is the silver dragon. I still won't lay my hands on my savior, boss. Wang Feng was also a little speechless. After thinking about it, Wang Feng said, shouldn't you be the one to admit defeat? Huh? The silver dragon didn't understand. Didn't I pretend to go easy on her and not fight? Look, Wang Feng pointed at the silver dragon. You're injured now, and I'm also injured. We're even. But in fact, I haven't even shown my true strength, and you've already shown your true strength. So, I have the upper hand now. If we continue to fight, your life will be in danger. The silver dragon was stunned. Wait, wasn't that what I was thinking? Why did it come out of your mouth? The silver dragon was a little confused. She searched the human vocabulary in her mind, trying to find 2 words to describe the other's behavior. But she couldn't find any. It was so uncomfortable. So the silver dragon opened her mouth, but she didn't know what to say. Do you want to say shameless? Wang Feng wiped the wounds on his body and smiled. Shameless. The silver dragon thought for a while. First, it nodded, then quickly shook its head. Shameless. Long Xia couldn't help but prostrate himself in admiration. Actually, I can understand why you're doing this. Wang Feng suddenly said, you were thinking that if we continue to fight like this, I'll definitely die. But I'm your savior, so you can't continue fighting like this. But if you just let go, you'll think that it's disrespectful. Because you fought so many matches, you can see that the soul masters who participate in the tournament, especially the soul masters who make it to the end, are all showing their true strength. You think that it'll be too obvious if you just let go, and that it'll be disrespectful. That's why you created the illusion that you're injured. Although your acting isn't very good, you're really injured. You even touched on your own injuries to make it seem more realistic. That way, I'll think that you stopped attacking because you were injured. You didn't intentionally let me win. End of chapter. Chapter 1358. Wang Feng felt that the silver dragon was a very mysterious existence. She was simple, right? She was not simple. She could think of so many things in an instant. But when she acted, Wang Feng felt that she was very stupid. What are you talking about? The silver dragon looked at the sky, as if she did not understand what Wang Feng was talking about. She couldn't help but put her hands behind her back. Although his face was still very calm, he still gave people a sense of supreme power and prestige. So he saw through it. The silver dragon felt that it was very strange. If that was the case, then what he said was shameless, but actually what I said just now was not wrong. Wang Feng smiled. He didn't care that the silver dragon pretended not to understand and didn't hear anything. Of course, Wang Feng felt that his guess could be all wrong. So, the silver dragon really didn't understand. I don't understand. The silver dragon shook her head, then added, I really don't understand. This time, she really didn't understand. Wang Feng. So you understood what I said just now? In other words, I guessed all right? Wang Feng was speechless again. He took a step forward and said slowly, what I mean is, if you continue fighting, your life will be in danger. The moment he finished speaking, Wang Feng suddenly released a powerful aura that could be seen with the naked eye. He suddenly clenched his hand toward the sky. Bright light rose from Wang Feng's body. Vaguely, a majestic figure appeared on Wang Feng's body. It was a figure that looked exactly like Wang Feng. Wang Feng's eyes were like green lotuses, shining brightly. The light came out of Wang Feng's body and merged into his body through the shadow. Then, a mysterious green lotus appeared in the center of Wang Feng's palm. Damn, boss, what are you doing? Long Xia was stunned. Wasn't this the main body on the Star Battle, Sacred Mountain? Why would it appear on boss's clone? Long Xia would never forget this green lotus martial soul. Wang Feng's martial soul was a top secret in history. BB Don was very cautious back then. They deleted a lot of information about Wang Feng, but kept some of the things that Wang Feng had done. BB Don felt that Wang Feng's martial spirit was too abnormal. It had completely surpassed the understanding of this world. Therefore, She very rationally deleted this kind of information to ensure that after she left the Douluo world, even if there were external forces threatening the Douluo world, they would not pay attention to Wang Feng. Therefore, no one knew about this martial soul. The long-awaited power was no stranger to Wang Feng. It was very familiar. The middle section of one Qi into 3 pure ones allowed the doppelganger to temporarily use part of the original body strength. For a divine ability like this, when cultivated to the extreme, there was no such thing as a main body or a clone. Their strength was also exactly the same. Unfortunately, this was only the middle chapter. The system had given it to him when he logged into the Sea God's Pavilion. Wang Feng had been talking for a year, and naturally, he had also secretly comprehended a lot. All this time, Wang Feng had not used me, because just relying on the Angel of Light and Dark, Long Xie, and Qilin Lord Bing Mu was enough to do whatever he wanted in this world. He had no choice now. The Silver Dragon was too strong. Since he couldn't beat it, he could only use his main body. The Silver Dragon finally felt a terrifying power. It came from the Blue Lotus martial soul. It was a power that touched her heart. Not only her, but all the soul masters present felt the same. One had to know that the original body's strength had already reached rank 100. What kind of concept was the chaotic Blue Lotus martial soul? When Wang Feng was rank 91, he used the chaotic Blue Lotus martial soul to kill a rank 2 god. Even a rank 1 god was no match for him. With the Pangu axe, even a god king was beaten out. Now, this doppelganger could not use the full strength of the chaotic Blue Lotus, but it was enough even if it could use part of it. Just the first few states were enough to fight the Silver Dragon, whose strength had not fully recovered. One had to know that in addition to the chaotic Blue Lotus martial soul, the original body also had the Pangu axe. Wang Feng held the chaotic Blue Lotus in his hand. Without saying a word, he used all kinds of states he was familiar with. As rays of light rose one after another, Wang Feng's aura became more and more terrifying. From the Golden Lotus, Red Lotus, Black Lotus, God-slaying spear, the 5-element flag, the White Lotus, the creation Blue Lotus, and so on. Wang Feng gave himself all the statuses that he could use. At the same time, he activated the chaotic Blue Lotus martial soul true body and the innate 5-element domain. Holding the God-slaying spear, he used 2 states. Without saying a word, he easily used the wind and thunder of heaven and earth from the wind and thunder absolute God spear. This spear seemed to absorb the light of heaven and earth, the sun and the moon. The space sealed by the Silver Dragon exploded in an instant. The greenish-purple energy gathered like 2 dragons. The energy took the shape of clouds and attacked the Silver Dragon. At this moment, countless people's faces changed. Since the stage was in the process, it would not be able to withstand the force and directly explode. The Silver Dragon held its breath and focused. It could not care less about the insignificant injuries on its body. It was fully alert. Divine Earth Space. The Silver Dragon shouted softly. Silver light erupted from its body. The Silver Dragon-shaped shadow seemed to become more solid. It seemed to have become solid. In an instant, the ground of the entire martial spirit city was shaking. Dong, dong, dong. In an instant, with the Silver Dragon as the center, countless earthy yellow divine walls condensed out of thin air. It was like a cube, and there were hundreds of layers. Even the entire Hongyu Square was wrapped up. It was completely dark. It was as if it was isolated. If these soul masters were outside, they would be shocked to find that even the martial spirit city seemed to be wrapped up. Countless energy gathered in the center of the Silver Dragon. This terrifying power had exceeded the imagination of all soul masters. Even a rank 99 title Douluo could not create such a terrifying power. Even a rank 100 God rank expert could not do it. However, just as the Silver Dragon King was about to execute this move, it was as if only an instant had passed. The countless divine walls that formed in front of her seemed to have been cut off from space. They were completely penetrated by a cold purple and green light without any resistance. It was as if the world had been jolted. The ground was no longer trembling. Before everyone could feel the instant darkness, they returned to the clear sky and bright sun. And what they saw was the center of the arena that had been completely turned into powder. The beautiful silver-haired woman's glabella was pressed against an extremely black blood-colored spear. It was only an inch away. The black spear was overflowing with ferocity. Just one look at it was enough to make one's mind uneasy and almost go crazy. Gulp. Everyone who had yet to come back to their senses subconsciously swallowed a mouthful of water. The silver dragon's face was still fair, but it was a little pale. Death was at the edge. At this moment, the owner of the black spear coughed twice and spat out a mouthful of blood. He retracted his spear and went into the powder that was flying in the air. Cough, cough. I'm injured too. The Silver Dragon. In a chapter. Chapter 1359. Wang Feng was really injured. His avatar still had the God King seal, so his body was far weaker than his original body. It was naturally uncomfortable to use his original body's strength. Fortunately, Wang Feng hadn't fully comprehended the middle part of the one qi into 3 pure ones, so he could only use part of his original body strength. Otherwise, this doppelganger would be finished if he forced himself to use his main account. Wang Feng had expected this, but he wasn't like the Silver Dragon. But, boss, you're too much. They're faking it, but you're faking it? Long Xie was amused. What have you been doing in the ring these 2 days? Long Xie didn't believe that his boss was injured. It was too obvious just now. He must have done it on purpose. Lin Lord Bing, Mu could only remain silent. As a soul-bonded beast, he could sense that Wang Feng wasn't in good condition. He was really injured, but how did he get injured when he was so strong? Lin Lord Bing, Mu couldn't understand. At that moment, the crowd that was completely intoxicated by the scene before them were also shocked by the scene before them. What the hell, huh? Look, Qing, you look. Ice Emperor said angrily. Do you believe that there's nothing going on between them? This is the finals of the most prestigious human tournament. The two of them were actually flirting with each other here? If you don't think it's obvious, then I have nothing to say. Ice Emperor got angrier and angrier as he thought about it. He decided to stop watching. She would be the first to complain when her sister woke up. Qing Yu came back to her senses. She looked around and realized that no one was talking. They were all watching in a daze. What terrifying strength! Qing Yu didn't seem to hear Ice Emperor. She was still immersed in the battle. She knew that both the silver-haired woman and the silver dragon were much stronger than a rank 99 titled Douluo. They were beyond the limits of this world. Qing Yu didn't know what level they were at. As for the last scene, Qing Yu didn't explain it clearly. But based on her judgment, it wasn't what Ice Emperor thought it was. No wonder this human has such a close relationship with the extreme Ice 3 Emperors. The rumors circulating among the soul beasts in the extreme north, Qing Yu seemed to understand a little. 10,000 years ago, she was still in a deep slumber, cultivating in an extremely hidden location. She didn't even appear when the evil soul masters plotted against the extreme north. Most of what they knew about Wang Feng came from the rumors after he woke up in the extreme north over the past 10,000 years. It was hard to understand how this human could have such a high status in the far north. His strength was clearly not very strong. Now, he understood it completely. Qing Yu couldn't help but look at the Douluo heavenly kings on the stage in the distance. That heavenly king she on the high platform. The Douluo heavenly kings felt a chill run down their spines. Damn, he was indeed an old monster who had lived for 10,000 years. The white Popetiff's martial spirit has already disappeared into history, but just now, it was too terrifying. Heavenly King Nan Yuan's face was a little pale as he patted his chest. I knew it. How could he only be around rank 40? I didn't expect him to have lived for 10,000 years. Back then, his brothers left us, Douluo, and became existences that were far beyond our reach. Elder has lived for 10,000 years. How can he still look so young? It's unbelievable. I feel like all of us combined would have been skewered into candied haws. The Douluo heavenly kings were speechless. They were all speechless. Only the she Douluo's eyes shone as she looked at Wang Feng. There was a mysterious look in her eyes. "So it's you," she muttered. "Sister Shi, what did you say?" Heavenly King Nan Yuan seemed to have heard something. He asked curiously. "I said, he purposely let this silver-haired lady win with his last attack, right?" The she Douluo laughed. "What's their relationship?" "They seem to be friends." Heavenly King Nan Yuan thought for a moment. "However, I sensed the aura of a soul beast during the battle just now. This silver-haired lady should be a very powerful soul beast. She's more than 1,000,000 years old." The heavenly kings were still heavenly kings. They had already sensed it. The silver dragon had used such a powerful soul beast, and the aura it leaked naturally couldn't escape their notice. Then, who is the winner of this match? It can't be a draw, right? Heavenly King Yu was in a dilemma. The Douluo heavenly kings fell in a deep thought. They weren't the only ones. Many soul masters were also puzzled. Who won? Brother Tian. Look, it's just as I thought. His target is our Lord. Otherwise, he wouldn't have used the same method in his last attack. Can't you tell? Bai Ji was a little excited. Our Lord is the master of all soul beasts, and he's the one who created the soul contract master. Once the two of them combine, the Douluo continent will be completely changed. So powerful. Tian heaved a sigh of relief. His clenched fists relaxed slightly. After hearing Bai Ji's words, he felt a headache. "Bai Ji, isn't this human strength what you're concerned about?" Tian couldn't help but remind her. "He almost killed our Lord just now." "What do you know? You don't understand. Why would he want to kill our Lord?" Bai Ji retorted. "He's just playing with our Lord. You can't even see that." Tian shook his head helplessly. He only felt that the power that this human had unleashed in that instant was too terrifying. Was this the strength he had in the divine mountain that made the 5 god kings seal him? I wonder if he can compare to the dragon god's ancestor. Tian sighed softly. However, he shook his head and thought about it. Our Lord had deduced that he would be stronger than the dragon god's ancestor. If Tian was the silver dragon now, the silver dragon didn't need to be deduced. It was certain that he was stronger than the dragon god. As for how much stronger he was, he didn't know. But at the very least, they were on par. The silver dragon could feel the hidden strength behind that spear just now. That mysterious martial soul and the aura that could kill everything in the world. Even those god kings couldn't compare to it. Especially when that spear was pressed against her forehead. The silver dragon could feel the aura of true death. It was even more terrifying than when the Azura god king injured her. But in the end, did he do it on purpose or unintentionally? The silver dragon looked at the falling Wang Feng and couldn't help but think. It looks very real. Is he really injured? Humans are so fun. Just now, he exposed me, and now he's the same. Although his acting is better than mine. Amen. It seems real. The silver dragon took a few glances. She realized that the latter looked real. Otherwise, there was no need for him to fall to the ground and suffer for nothing. He wasn't like her. At most, she would just let out a breath. But how did he get injured? The silver dragon didn't understand and landed. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.